to this Friday edition of the Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo D. Rice, and my correspondent.
Double R.
All right, so in the studio today, those that have followed my show from Love 860 AM, you might recognize this voice from being the brunt of my very existence, but a great friend nonetheless. So introduce yourself, tell me your name, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jasean Hayes. I am a millennial alchemist, as I like to say. I work with millennials, and I'm a veteran, so I like to work with veterans as well, and share my voice and knowledge with everybody who would like to hear anything that I have to say. And I also like to listen. I like to take in the knowledge and little seeds that people put in my ear that will help me grow as a professional and a human being as well.
And in that order. So I call him Sean. Sean is, I call him an HR expert. He's been doing like HR type work ever since I've known him. So he understands that dynamic, working with people, all that good stuff. So he's here today because he wants to have some discussions about, the generations, which everybody knows I'm a generational leadership specialist. So that's kind of what I do, is look at generations, what they do, how they behave, all that good stuff, which is in my book, Calculated Conflict. Just want to toss that out there. And yes, Double R is back today. So
we in the building.
He's back today. So
we in the building.
All right, so
let's these logical standpoints. You know what I mean?
God, let's
Told you I'm in the middle.
Let's go.
I am in the middle. I'm different because me in particular, like, I enjoy having conversations with older people, and I enjoy watching old people listen to what I say. Like, maybe this young boy know what he talking about. Like,
You're so annoying. You know that?
but I can talk to young people exactly how they talk, and they understand it.
Mm-hmm. Yo, people, he called you old.
I mean, wait, how old are you again?
30.
Wait, how old are you?
Old enough.
How old? I'm older than you. So I mean, how old are you?
The same age as you.
You are not 39.
Next month.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, both of y'all old.
Whatever. Yeah, but unlike the both of y'all, I don't look it, so it's whatever. Okay,
I don't
so
look
I mean,
30.
everybody's like,
I still get carded.
oh please,
And I
that's
don't
because the place you be
understand
hanging out at.
I don't hang out.
Doesn't say-
You know I don't hang out.
Well, I mean, you are a rapper, so I mean, do you consider yourself a rapper? How do you define?
I'm an artist.
Are you a hip hop?
No, if somebody asks you what
socialist?
kind of music you do, you have to specify.
I make hip hop music, but I songwrite, produce, engineer.
So would you call yourself a hip hop artist or a
I'm a
rapper?
writer.
Do you know the difference between hip hop and rap?
Yeah.
What is the difference?
It's a
between hip hop and
very
rap?
distinct difference.
Enlighten us, because today's a free flow show. So
The easiest way to explain it would be the way that most people try to explain it to kids.
Okay.
So like it's a time period. So like you would say everything before 2000 could be considered hip hop, and everything after 2001. So everything after Lil Jon is rap music.
I don't even consider Lil Jon a rapper. He's like a hype man.
He's not a rapper,
He is
but
a
I'm talking
glorified
about the
man.
era of music that you would apply it
But
to.
wouldn't
I'm actually surprised that
Tupac wouldn't Tupac and Biggie, wouldn't they be rappers?
Nah, that was hip hop.
They not hip hop to me. When I think of rap, I think, Tupac. Toss it up. Dear Mama.
I'm just surprised you actually attach Lil Jon to any genre. How we get there?
So, if you're talking about like the current state of rap music, like the energy, the 808, the energy that you hear in music right now can be 100% traced back to Lil Jon.
How?
Because
Trace back
that's
to
what
Lil
he.
Jon, not Jermaine Dupri.
Nah, 2000. Jermaine Dupri was never as crunk music, like what we know is crunk music. The like the same way you can trace back trap music to like early T.I., Gucci Mane, Jeezy, like the sound, the elements in the sound that you apply to music right now. So like the energy that you hear in most of these artists' music can be traced back to him. What he introduced to me, like music was never that hype, ever. Like that hype, like he introduced Bone Crusher, Yin Yang Twins, his music. Like nobody before that particular group of people were making music like this. Like the music that you hear right now, like the rappers that you hear right now.
So
Lil Jon was put into his own thing called crunk music. That was it. He was, but the energy. I think the energy has always been there.
No,
Because
not like that.
If I got to speak for Jermaine put on a lot of artists.
Yeah, but
I mean, go back to Crisscross, jump.
Jermaine
You know what
made
I'm
a
saying?
lot of great records. I'm talking about like Waka Flocka is like Baby Lil Jon. If you listen to his music, the energy in his music can be traced back to that.
I don't think I know any Waka Flocka song.
I can't.
You don't have to know it, but
I
I'm
can't
just
count
talking
Waka
about.
Flocka. I can't
I'm just
count.
talking about the energy in his music.
Maybe J. Cole.
The
No,
energy in his music
Okay,
can
so
be
when I think
You
attributed.
sound like a broken flip flop. Just saying.
When I think of Little John, I put him in the same category as Flavor Flav. Like they're both hype men. So to accredit Little John with a movement, that's like saying
Nah, he is very.
That's like saying Flavor Flav ushered
No,
in.
he's very much
gangster
like
rap.
he ushered in the sound in music that you would say like somebody like Jermaine did with R&B. Like what Jermaine did with R&B music in the early 2000s with Usher in particular. That sound that he introduced, it was very reminiscent of to like 3 years of R&B in the 90s. Like that very specific 3 years of R&B in the 90s, he reintroduced in the early 2000s with Usher. And then you get the Ushers and that one good album from Mariah Carey. And like,
Look, I done told you.
look, I'm just saying.
She did a good album.
About being disrespectful.
She did a good
I done
album.
told y'all about being disrespectful
I'm
to
just
Mimi.
saying.
We
Look,
not about to do that.
All she did was
Mariah
squeal.
Carey was that
That
chick.
one
That was
note,
it. She just
but look,
squealed. That's it.
that one album
She just worked
in the
every
early
song. That was
2000s,
it.
and then when
Y'all
he
disrespectful.
reintroduced
That was it. She's our candy.
what's that group they did 112?
Oh, yeah.
Like
Where I go.
certain sounds
Oh, my God.
that he reintroduced to R&B music, it went away, and now you hear it again. So it's like it's certain people you can trace back certain sounds that they reintroduced to. We wouldn't know that the Usher sound without Jermaine.
I mean, absolutely. But Jermaine is a contributing member to that. When you say Little John, I don't. Outside of him,
A lot-
being like,
a lot of people-
yeah,
but
I'm
a
not
lot
really-
of-
What about the Brat? Let's talk about that.
the Brad is in Jermaine Dupri's camp. So
I know that's what I'm
But
saying.
I'm talking
She's
about-
one of the best female.
I'm talking
rappers
about
out there.
sounds like the elements that create what we call so before anybody put lyrics on beats, there's the production. The particular production that Little John introduced to the industry, you hear it in one of the biggest genres in the world, which is EDM. They never had hip hop beats at EDM parties. It was all rave music. Mad acid in the air and jumping and mad sweat. And now you have somebody like Little John. He's like the king over there. Like he can go on any stage in the world and play any like his music. And he just applied the elements in his music to other genres of music and made it popular.
So that would imply that. So he's a producer. Is he a producer?
He's
too?
been a producer.
Yeah.
He's always been
He's
a
always been a
producer. He was
producer.
signed as a producer. And then he started a label and started to put artists on.
Oh, so that's the part was missing from me. I didn't know he started a label. I didn't know
Yeah,
that. I thought he
he
was
has-
just a hype man. Look, Flavor Flav was a hype man. I don't think he started a label and put people on. He was just a hype man. Like,
Flavor Flav also was never like the dude in the group. He was never that guy. He was the dude, like he was the gimmick in the group. And that's not being disrespectful, but certain groups got gimmicks. When you see the group, you like, nah, bro, you ain't it. He the dude. He's 60 plus, maybe.
I
Still
think
walking around
he
with the
older than
big
that.
clock on his neck. You look stupid.
That's how
Well,
he
I mean,
branded
look,
himself. That's where he at.
the man has had what 3 seasons of before. Actually, he made it cool to do reality TV. He had Flavor of Love season
Yeah.
1, 2,
Oops.
and 3.
Oops.
Like we
Yeah,
we still see the remnants of it. Shay was in love, Flavor of Love, and we still see Shay now to this day. She's like an old school. Actually, she shouts out to Shay Johnson. Well, actually, it was Shay. Was it Bucky? I think her name was Bucky on Love and
You
Flavor.
don't even
on
know.
Flavor.
You gonna
All
make me
I know
Google
I
is
think it was
like-
Bucky's. It was Shay Bucky Johnson. I think that was it was. So shouts out to Shay Johnson for being the original one of the original girls in the reality game, the reality TV game. So I mean, I get it. I'm just.
But
I
it
just-
always happened like that. But you don't you wouldn't see I couldn't see certain artists like doing that. Like he's not one of those guys that you go back in time like, nah, he was popping. No, he was in a group. And it just so happened that the group that he was in was very impactful to the times.
So what about Outkast?
I mean, Outkast sounds in music.
What about what they brought?
It's certain sounds in music that they like. Bombs Over Baghdad. That particular song in music. If you listen to the production and you listen to certain production now, that just in the drum, the 808, like you wasn't hearing 808s that prevalent in beats back then until they did it. And they take credit for it. Like, no, we was really applying the 808 to production. Very heavy before it was popular. And then it became popular and they never got credit for it. But they were also one of those groups that the dynamic in their group made sense. Like, both of them could really rap. Both of them was very impactful. Both of them was very lyrical. You never had a bunch of groups like that. Like, even if you take Outkast away from Dungeon Family, like, the best rapper in the group would still be CeeLo.
Wait, what?
Whoa.
Wait,
Whoa.
what?
Whoa. Cut his
Repeat
mic
that
off.
again?
If you take so Dungeon Family
Whoa.
is a combination of more than one group. So there's Goody Mob, Outkast. If you take Outkast away from Dungeon Family, CeeLo would be the best rapper in the group.
Wait,
And that's not a slight to everybody else, but there was a time where CeeLo was the best rapper in the group.
I didn't think CeeLo rapped. I thought he was the same.
Yeah, that's because
CeeLo rap, but I think one, he had a very catchy voice. Just the way his voice is, I think that really caught a lot of people's attention. But I wouldn't say he was the best rapper, but I think that's how you identify to, you know, which person particularly do you like to
Nah,
look
he was
at.
barred. He was
So
barred
if
dudes
you-
down.
That's like if you look at Bone Thugs and Harmony, right?
who the best rapper out the
Who the
group?
best rapper? Some people say lazy, some people say crazy.
No, it's
You know?
it's the dark skinned one.
Is it-
Him. I don't know which one he
now
is,
doing a dark
but
skin
it's the
coalition up in here.
dark skinned one.
Just because he's the darkest one.
It's
in
the
studio right
dark
now.
skinned one and the light skinned one, the young
Right.
one, the one that be on Instagram right now with the shotguns. Him.
What?
Who? Pull it up.
I
Pull
don't
it
know
up.
these
How we
guys'
get it on the TV?
names,
Pull it up.
but those two.
Nah.
But it would really be the dark skinned one. He the best rapper out the
I
group.
can't even agree with that though.
I don't know which one he
But
is.
that's why I said. it
Which
depends.
bone is he?
Isn't one of their names Dizzy Bone?
Dizzy?
I don't
no,
know.
You had Lazy, Crazy.
I think one of them was Dizzy Bone. I'm
Stress.
pretty
One of them died.
sure. Stress.
I think that was his. I don't.
Now you
Or
being
flesh.
disrespectful.
Flesh bone.
One of them,
You making up stuff. There's no flesh bone neck. I'm pretty sure
Google
there's
it.
no flesh bone neck.
Google
he
it.
probably had Achilles on there.
But one of them died. I think it was the youngest one. But what I'm saying is, like, certain artists ushered in sounds in music that are very prevalent today, and they'll never
Well,
get
you know
credit
what?
for it.
Let's bring it to the square, man. Who do you like best? Kelly Rowland or Beyonce?
Are we really going there?
I mean, let's just do it.
We're not doing that because
it
they
was
they're-
it was
Because
it was
it-
4 to 3 to 2 girls in the group at a time, depending on what
What
month it was.
It
y'all
started.
not be
So it started with 4. I don't
started
remember
with
that
4.
other girl's name,
right.
but her. She got kicked out of the group.
Okay, what we're not gonna do is do this.
Why not?
So if you're gonna
It's
do
a
it, fine.
free-flowing show.
If
Let's
you're gonna
go.
do this,
Just
fine.
saying.
It started with Latavia, Latanya, Kelly, and Beyonce. Latavia and Latanya, apparently they had a meeting and there was a problem with management, so they dispelled Latavia and Latanya from the group. They replaced those two with Michelle Williams and Farrah something. Farrah fell off, and that just left Michelle.
I thought
There you
Farrah
go.
got pregnant. I thought that was a story.
No,
She got
she
pregnant.
said she said it was something about her manager said she had gotten really sick and she missed a lot of dates, something to that extent.
And they kicked out of the group.
Pretty much.
And you go on what social media says.
No, that's when they start telling. They've told
That's
the story
the
50,000 times.
documentary. They got a
That's what she
documentary and
said.
everything.
I don't trust
that
the
that she said
I
that
don't
they.
don't
But the funniest thing is,
But that's the same
Um,
thing that happened with Michelle, because she had something had happened. She got sick, and
to
it
cover up.
it made it
yeah,
made
but it wasn't
sense.
to the capacity.
The
When
conspiracy.
Farrah got sick, they had just
No,
started.
when,
They just
when
swapped
Farrah
in.
got sick, she was like sick.
But going back
Like
to
she
the
had
original
sickle cell or
question,
something like that. Then
Yeah,
who
but
do
y'all gotta
you think was
remember.
better? Because me, I was always partial to Kelly Rowland. I like Kelly Rowland.
I
I,
think they're
didn't
on-
too much care for Beyonce.
I think they're on the
still
same-
don't too much care.
I think
for,
they're on the
I
same
mean, I'm gonna
level.
get my cars. gonna be key and
Beyonce
everything. I'm just not 100%
is the
Beyonce
goat.
fan.
Beyonce is the goat,
That's it.
and Kelly is super amazing
She
and
played
one
her
of the
role.
most beautiful women on the planet.
All day, every day, twice. on
But
Sunday.
Kelly, in my personal opinion, Kelly's creative genius was never partial to music, because she was a songwriter too. Like her being a songwriter and a designer and a executive producer, like you start to see after the group broke up, she put out an album and went on tour, and then put out a clothing line, and then got a TV show.
You talking about the one on BET?
Now this was before BET. She was on one of those little fashion shows.
Why do we call
Oh
it-
yeah. I think it was
She had
a
a
fashion
show.
show. I think
She had
was on
a
fashion
show on. I think it was early on Bravo. She was on Project Runway.
Okay.
She had a show after that. Then she had another show.
Okay.
Then she got the show on TV One, and then it went from TV One to BET. And then she had got a primetime show on Fox. Like, she's always been the no, I want to be the one, like, okay, let me put the people in place. And then she had the show on Fox where she created the girl, she was trying to bring back the girl groups.
No,
but the same thing.
BET. It was Chasing Destiny. That's how they discovered at June's Diary.
Can we just call it Bet? Does it really have to be BET? Bet.
I bet they're not gonna come back from. Actually, I take that back. Shouts out to BET because they are finally bringing back Sunday's Best. That's the best thing they ever did. I'm glad they finally bringing it back. They have a new panel of judges, which should be extremely interesting because they're not like gospel artists. Because I think the panel's now Kelly Price, Jonathan McReynolds, and they're bringing Erica Campbell back. Kirk Franklin's still in charge, so it'll be very interesting. I'm excited because I love Sunday's Best.
Yeah, because I mean, if you talk about the ratings, like none of the other shows was getting ratings like that.
I don't even think anybody watches the BET for anything outside the BET Awards.
No,
which is sad.
The ratings for BET Awards go down every year.
Yeah, it's not.
They might as well put the BET Awards on TV One. People watch TV One more. Ever since TV One came out with Unsung, like there is always, and Unsung come on every single day. It's always a reason to watch it because you've missed an episode.
Yeah, I think I missed a good.
I'm still trying to figure out how they get that many people to tell the truth about their life. Because most people lie.
Money.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's the title of the show. Like the show is really to pay homage to folks who didn't get this level of success.
No, it don't be no paying homage. Nah, they be bodying some of them
you
folks.
cut me a check today, and I spill everything about me.
One of the best unsung episodes is the Heat Wave episode. That Heat Wave episode put me on the Heat Wave. Like I always heard some of their music, like Boogie Nights and Always and Forever. I never knew the name of that group, and I never knew that. Like me being in music, like you know Rob Templeton from like being a songwriter for Michael and a producer for Michael and working with Prince and working with all these great artists. I forgot that he played keys. He was the lead key man and the lead songwriter in Heat Wave.
I wouldn't know that.
And I'm like, dang, like he's one of the greatest songwriters ever.
But I guess the question becomes...
And he was white, and he was in a genre that was dominated by black people. Like, I don't want to say his name wrong, but the lead singer in Heat Wave, like, if he would have never, because he got into a bad accident, if he would have never got hurt, like, he would be, and a lot of people that really listen to Heat Wave and listen to music attribute him as being one of the greatest voices ever. But if he would have been able to stay healthy, like, it wouldn't have been no question. Like he would have been one of the greatest voices ever.
But I guess my question is
Johnny Wilder Jr.
Yes. I'm talking about like listen to Always and Forever. Just if you listen to just that run that he did at the end of the song, that falsetto, like it didn't even sound like falsetto. It's just like his voice went that high. Like, nah, let me go up here real quick. Let me go up here real quick. And then I watched when they performed it for the first time live, and everybody else was like, hold on, what his voice just do? Like, we didn't know he was going to do that. And he did. And it sounds exactly like like you don't find artists that sound exactly like they album on stage.
Well,
like,
that's because most artists out here, they can sing or they can perform. They can't do both.
It's very few.
In that time.
And that's why Beyonce one of the
goats.
GOATs.
Was kicking the mini Jackson's butt. I mean, he was really, you have to have a stage presence, right? So you have to be, because it's when those lights come on and you're up under the stage and things start going, you know,
but they was never like Mike.
Go.
They was never like Mike. Mike used to, when they used to, I watched the video, that last tour that they did, because Mike hated wearing headsets. So he had on the headset, but he was trying to kill him with the move. And he was like, they can't hear me, cut my mic up. Like he said it in the middle of the show. Right. In the middle, and held the mic the whole time and did all the dance moves.
Right.
And then I seen Chris Brown do it. And I'm like, this is what it is.
Have you ever seen Eric Benet?
Live?
Yeah.
I seen him once.
Man.
I stopped messing with Eric Benet because he cheated on Holly. Like,
First
you can't do that.
First of all, all that did was open the floodgates for me and her to get back together.
But like, she had a baby with a white man. She had a baby with a white man.
Yeah, she ain't checking for African.
I don't discriminate. I love all.
I don't discriminate, but like, you had a baby with a white man.
I'll be a stepdaddy.
I mean, she's light skinned. I mean, I think one of
No,
her
she had a baby
parents-
with a white man.
One of her parents. I believe,
Janet
was
had a
white.
baby with a white man.
Okay, Janet has always been known to date outside her race.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody was surprised when she dated Jermaine Dupri for that sale because that's not Janet.
It was together for
So,
like
I mean,
11 years.
I know that everybody was shocked when it happened. I mean, and we were surprised it lasted that long.
Nah, they was together.
They would have.
Well, here's my question though: do you feel like BET went downhill when they got brought out by Viacom?
I think BT.
No, I think BET went downhill when they announced that the new owner of BET was a white man or a white woman. When
Where
they
you from?
when they sold the Viacom buyout, because it wasn't like, nah, I'm that guy and like we doing good, but we trying to get this check. I was like, no, they got the check. They just finna buy us out real quick. That was a buyout. Like some of I realized BET was going down when Kelsey Grammer stopped executive producing all their shows. Like you remember Girlfriends? That was on
wasn't
UPN.
That was
It went
there.
from
Nah,
UPN to
nah.
BET.
No, they acquired it, but they acquired old episodes. They didn't start a new cycle.
They brought it back. The last season of Girlfriends was on BT. It wasn't on UPN because UPN got bought out. And when it became the CW, all of the black shows that were on UPN was all executive produced by Kelsey Grammer. And when he left, and I started seeing all these shows on BET, don't forget The Game. That's a UPN show.
Yeah, I know. Well,
And it went
BET
from UPN to BET.
Yeah, I think they
But
did
I think
3
it ran-
seasons.
It
Three,
ran
and
its course.
it went, and it was just like, nah,
it's
this
terrible.
ain't it.
Well, that had been gone too long. I was like,
And I used to see
yeah,
Pooch.
it
I
ran
used to
its
see
course.
Pooch
Yeah,
every
it-
day.
it was gone
First
too
of all,
long.
you're a grown man. Your first name Pooch. Like I used to see him, but I used to see him every day when I worked at LA Fitness in Atlanta Station. He used to be in there every single day,
Really?
hooping every day. And then I didn't realize that they was shooting in the building right across. I'm like, yeah, I could have came and been in the episode.
Well,
What?
that's Atlanta, man. That's Atlanta. They shoot a lot of stuff down here. People don't realize it. People don't realize that they shot from Black Panther, that scene with Michael B. Jordan. That was done at the High Museum.
Yeah, they shot.
If
They
you were to
shot.
go to the High Museum and go down, they had a lot of African history art stuff down there, and that's where that was shot. People didn't even realize, they didn't know it.
Actually, there was a lot of stuff from the Avengers that was shot in Atlanta too.
Exactly.
No,
Somebody
the
did that.
Avengers was shot in Atlanta. They shot the whole movie here.
Oh, that sounds about right.
They shot Avengers here.
Right.
They Black Panther 2 they working on. They shooting that here.
We're in Wakanda.
know,
The
that's
movie with
I know we should
with
start a hashtag Wakanda Atlanta.
Gerard Butler and is it Den of Thieves with Gerard Butler and 50 Cent. They
Yeah.
shot that here in the West End and called it San Francisco. I'm like, come on, bro. I know where this is.
But that's media, man. Just because they put the label on it, people feel like, oh yeah, that's where we at. No, that's not. It's fake. It's okay.
They're shooting Jumanji 2. They shooting that here.
You mean 3? Because they already did 2. 2
That
was the
was
one
like a
with
No, that was the reboot.
That was a
of
reboot.
1.
So now they're going. Yeah.
They're shooting the second one here.
After when you reboot it, it's the old one doesn't. It really doesn't exist no more.
They shot scenes from the Hobbs movie here.
What Hobbs movie? What's that? The Hobbit?
No,
No, we
Hobbs.
talking about that. It's the spin-off of
Fast and Furious.
It's
Oh,
Jason Statham
yeah,
and
yeah.
The Rock.
Yeah, they
And
shot some of that
Idris.
here. I mean, it's
It's gonna be the new Black James Bond.
that's
We
no,
haven't
they
confirmed that.
denied him.
Yeah, they
They
I heard they made it official.
no, they've been telling
you have to look
him
at them sources.
they
That's
they
why when
they
make them
keep telling
announcements-
him like that it has to stay in line with the history of James Bond. Don't forget, he's done multiple shows that are very similar
Yeah.
to James. Like he has the show on BBC that was
Luther.
similar to Sherlock Holmes
Luther.
because he couldn't get that role because he was black, and I understood that because in my opinion, the best Sherlock Holmes movie is with what's his name? It's Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr.
Oh,
Him as Sherlock. That's the best. That and the show Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch, the dude that plays
Cumberbatch,
Strange.
yeah, he played
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, right.
Those are the two best Sherlocks. Now they tried to bring it back with the joint with Lucy Liu. I enjoy Lucy Liu's face, like I enjoy her, but that's not a good
Actually,
show.
that was just a U.S. version based off the U.K. version.
Nah, but that's got
So
it.
that's like the show Being Human. They did a UK version and then they did a US version and they just replaced the actors. That's it. It's the the same episode you seen here is the same episode you're gonna see over there.
But it's garbage. They gotta stop. I'm just waiting on this because what I enjoy about a lot of these shows, especially shows like that, they take so much time. That's why people were so excited about this Game of Thrones thing. I've never been in the Game of Thrones because I don't play games like that.
I'm one of the 1% that never really watched it.
I ain't never got into it.
They had too many storylines.
But I've always heard that it's one of the greatest shows ever.
The show dictates. Okay, so the show dictates. You know, I remember. I can't even speak for the whole series because I only watched like 2 shows. But I think the first episode when old boy pushed a little kid out the window, that was his brother who saw him sleeping with his sister.
Yeah,
I was just kind of like, okay, whoa, this is way too intense even for me.
But it shows you like white people mad nasty.
On that, we're gonna take our first break. When we come back,
I'm just saying.
We're gonna do follow-up stories on headlines and some other things.
Yeah, we
Stick around
can
for
talk about
Leadership
Trump
Blend with your host Ricardi. All right, everybody, welcome back to this Friday edition of Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardi Rice, and my correspondent,
Double R.
and our special guest,
Jasean Hayes.
All right, so when we left, y'all were talking about, okay, I have one last question on what we were talking about. We were kind of talking about I don't want to say the demise, but the downward spiral for a lot of Black Beacon entities. And we were specifically talking about BET. and how when it changed hands and changed
Detroit.
guards, the focal points and the cornerstones for BET kind of got removed. So you didn't see as many rerun shows of African American sitcoms. You didn't see as much original program, which kind of still concerns me, still bothers me with as much originality that we're seeing between Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, that being the monster that BET has been, why we don't see more original programming. And when we do, it's typically a replica of what we've already seen. Because apparently some new show is coming out, and it looks like it's based off a basketball player again and the family. We've seen this story 1,000 times. Why are we not seeing more innovative stuff coming from stations like BET? But
Because we're not creating it.
But then my bigger question becomes, are we seeing that a lot more? Because I talk about this all the time. When you look for entities, black entities, to step to the forefront to do what they've done, we're not seeing as much of it. I finally saw a post on the NAACP as it pertains to something that happened, and I was just like, wow, they finally spoke about something. Like, where have you guys been?
Or you can think about it like this. What's the biggest black TV show on TV right now?
Empire.
What's the second biggest black TV show
Okay,
on
that
TV
wasn't, that
right
wasn't the
now?
answer you were looking for.
No, that is the answer.
Oh, then what was, you said the second one.
Yeah. Blackish. How many black people you think write on Empire?
Well, the person in charge is black.
Who, Lee Daniels?
Yeah.
You don't think that Lee Daniels got a whole bunch of white folks back there writing them scripts?
I don't know about a whole bunch. I'm sure he wants a creative perspective, so I'm sure he has not all African American staff.
Now watch this. How many black people you think write on Blackish? Because you're right, it's Lee Daniels, so it's probably a bunch of black people back there writing them scripts.
What?
Which is why the TV show looked like that. Which is why people are portrayed like that. Which is why the family is portrayed like that. And the black woman is portrayed like that. And the black man is portrayed like that. And you got a gay son, and a gay son with a boyfriend that's not really gay like that. And another son that want to be a rapper, but he also wants to be a killer. And then you look at a show like Blackish. It's not a sitcom. It's a real life TV show that is with very prevalent black actors and actresses that have staples in especially in entertainment. Tracy Ellis Ross, Girlfriend, and I'm a dude, and Girlfriends was my show.
It was.
Yeah, but you can't discredit Empire either because they have bigger staples. Felicia Rashad was in a whole season.
That's cool.
We talking about Felicia Rashad.
That's cool. And what was she doing?
But you got to remember the premise of Empire. The premise of Empire is, it actually, in essence, Empire is like and I think he based it at, it's like a black dynasty. You see that kind of stuff in Dynasty. There was a few huge families that had all this scandal. You see this kind of stuff all the time.
Here's the thing.
But what I'm saying,
what
I'm
they
saying is,
like to show is if it's not broke, don't fix it. Right?
Who's
why
the
they
most?
always do the same thing.
You could question the creativity in a show
Or like
by what comes from that show.
Right.
So Blackish, 5 seasons in, has a spinoff with his daughter in school. Great show on Netflix right now. Great show on Netflix.
What?
Grownish.
Grownish.
That's not Netflix. That's Freeform. It's on
That's the
Freeform.
channel.
When did
But
you get
the season posted.
I watched it.
I watched it on Netflix.
No, that's because they're giving the reruns to Netflix, but the show is actually on Freeform.
So for your show to be that good to get a spinoff, like with Girlfriends, a lot of shows came, the concepts of a lot of shows came from Girlfriends. Half and Half, The Game, like a lot of shows.
You sure them things are different spinoffs of the Girlfriend?
Not spinoffs. So I'm saying like the ideas from you could see a lot of ideas come from that show. Just like with Cheers. If you watch Cheers and then you watch a show like Friends, it's the same idea. They were always in the same place. At Cheers, they was at the bar. And Friends, they was at the coffee shop. Same amount of people.
Well, Kelsey
7.
Grammer was on that show too, right?
And Kelsey Grammer was on both
He
shows.
was on both shows. He produced it, right?
Yep.
He produced both of them, yeah.
So you start seeing like, what are we doing as black entertainers that make shows like that come out? Because Empire hasn't been good since really season 3. It's on what, season 6 now?
Actually, it's. I thought it. Well, here's the thing with Empire though. I don't feel like Empire is a great example because honestly, when Empire was created, I don't think they expected Empire to be as huge as it ended up being.
No, we knew.
You can tell that from season 2.
When Taraji signs on to be on
No,
prime
Taraji,
time
she wasn't that girl
television.
yet. She wasn't that girl yet.
What you mean?
Taraji was good, but she was not that girl until she did Cookie. Then it was like across the board. We knew she was great, but she wasn't Cookie Lions until after Empire, after season
Then
one.
what about Terrence Howard?
Terrence Howard was, to us, they were good, but when we talk about across the board where everybody knows their name, that didn't happen after Empire. To us, they were good. He did, and he started in Iron Man, but they replaced him with Don Cheadle right after that.
He wanted the check.
So
he wanted the check, and then he came. He has very memorable roles.
To us,
No,
he's
period.
great to us.
It's hard out here for a pimp. We know that
This
song
is where we have to make
because
these
of him.
You talking about Hustle on the Floor? I've never even seen Hustle on the Floor.
But you know what?
And Taraji was in it.
I know that.
Goes back
to
to
us, they're great.
But
nobody knew they were until Empire hit the main stage on Fox and took off. And you can tell that they didn't expect that from season 2. Because when season 2 came out, it was kind of like, oh my God, we just got numbers like, they were hitting American Idol numbers, and it was like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? You guys have got to make it great. They start scrambling. You see season 2, where it's just kind of like, yeah, y'all didn't expect this to be a hit because now the storylines are all warped. We don't know what's going on. You clearly don't know what's going on. And then kind of season 3 kind of leveled it out. It was kind of like, okay, we've lost some people, but we get where we should be going. So let's restore what we had originally.
Yep,
so that's why
when you
season 3 was
introduced the
so
gay
good.
boyfriend.
Okay, now Jamal's character holds a significant place in the African American community because Jamal's character is life for many African American males who identify as homosexual. So that's why everybody resonated.
But then, like, you can't. It ain't a whole bunch of gay dudes that's trying to be killers, though.
He's not trying to be. See, you hadn't watched it since season 3.
That's what I'm saying.
Not the role. No, but there are very significant points in season 1 of Empire with Jamal's character because it's still a taboo thing amongst black men about
especially black men
black
in
men.
music.
And especially older men. So there was a scene where Ludacris threw Jamal in the trash can. These are conversations we will not have, but these things legitimately
those are things that black people don't say out loud. You say that at the house. Hey, you remember when he threw Jamal in the trash can? Boy, that boy.
Not in that space. Now, when you talk about a game or something, yeah. But when you're talking about you want to throw your son away because of his sexual preference, those are conversations we will not have.
I don't know. When I look at Empire and Game of Thrones, I kind of look at them. They both cross a lot of lines.
But one of them is fictitious.
A lot of lines that both of them are fictitious.
No.
I don't think
both of them are fictitious.
No, Empire is not fictitious.
I think that, like I said before we went on break, like you see, the things that you see in certain shows are things that people don't like to admit about themselves. So that particular history, the way that when in the first season of Game of Thrones, like when you see like the incest and the murder and the dude, like it's certain things that when you see it, you like, well, you nasty, boy. These are things that they're not going to admit to. And it's the same thing with Empire. It's not that I say like, oh, it's a stereotype or it's a bad thing, but it's like, will it evolve? Like, does it evolve? You see that in white entertainment.
Well, not as long as they keep not as long as they keep feeding you the same message.
Or not as long as it's successful.
Because
this is the last season of Game of Thrones. Look at how many shows on Netflix or on other channels that is like Game of Thrones.
What's the longest running African American show out there?
Currently?
Period.
Sitcom? It might be a sitcom.
Might be.
I'm sure it's got to be.
It might have been, Martin was 7 seasons, 6 seasons.
I almost want to say the Cosby's, but hold on.
It might be the Cosby's.
You talking about in general or you talking about now?
Just in general.
Then it probably is the Cosby's.
It's the Cosby's.
I would probably say the Cosby Show.
Because the Cosby was 11 seasons or 9 seasons, and then A Different World was 5 seasons.
You sure it wasn't more than that?
What? A Different World?
I think it was more than 5. I have to look it up. But is that a legitimate issue though? Because we see
the Jeffersons.
Shows.
The Jeffersons is the longest. What is it? 15 years, right?
I believe so.
But I said, is that the issue though? That we don't know how to evolve characters to the capacity that the shows can keep going longer. Is that an issue?
Not evolving characters, but
or storylines, evolving storylines that stay current with the climate.
Well, here's the thing
that they're in.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna throw it on the table. It's done. It's right there. Black folks love drama. That's it. If it ain't got enough drama in it, they ain't watching it.
Well, that's fine, but you can still
No, it's not fine.
equate drama to
What
what's
was-
going on
not
currently.
fine.
What
No,
was the
it's
show?
not fine. It's not.
Not the Jeffersons. What's the other one?
Good times.
Good Times. So look at Good Times. When did Good Times like have the cliffhanger? The
James
first one.
died.
No, that was the
when
second
Penny went in it with
When-
the
when-
iron scene with Penny.
one. When
Well, not with Lona.
the first one where when she almost got raped. That scene. The second one was when JJ got robbed, and then when they killed James. But by then, we were already so in tune to the show. Where else can you go when you already up here? When you already up here, where else can you go? Down. And then what happened to the show after that?
Good Times was a bad example for me. I didn't watch Good Times, so I couldn't relate to it.
Now,
Now
Good
I'll
Times
kinda
was
watch
lit.
it. You could relate to it.
But
I
why
couldn't
was
relate to Good Times.
lit? That's what I want. Why was Good Times better than the Jeffersons? I identified with the black.
I didn't say
man
it was better.
who-
I just said it was lit.
So is the Jeffersons lit to you as well?
Yeah, the Jeffersons was lit. And what the thing that made the Jeffersons so interesting, every single day, this white man walked in his house without knocking. Nobody ever said anything about that, but that was the first
Wait.
thing that I noticed about when in the very first episode, this white man
Tom?
just walked into his house. But that's his partner. And a lot of people don't know like the concept behind that show is in the intro. It's actually in the intro, the song, like the moving on up. So like when you listen to the song and then you realize like he literally went from like just
Oh,
the
yeah.
dude that owned the
Dry cleaning.
the dry cleaners in the building to actually living on the top floor of the building and owning 17 dry cleaners in the city. Like it's stuff like that. Like ideas like that. You get to like season 5 where his store had got robbed and and then they rioted in the city and then they broke all the windows and then he kept the store open with no window. And then he got the window replaced because people in the community came through and was like, hey, we love your, we need to still get our clothes clean. And then he closed the store and then he moved it in it. Like stuff like you never see that type of progression because you never see ideas of people like that on TV. Not now, where it could just be cool with you watch. I don't think they can remake a show like The Jeffersons right now because it's too sensitive.
Yep.
Because he's like best friends with this white dude. Like this white dude came in his house every single day without knocking. Every single day.
Actually, I think they
Multiple
have-
times of a day.
I think they attempted because there's a new show with I think Cedric the Entertainer and somebody else called The Neighborhood, and I think it kind of has it's not the high rise ideology, but the
Well,
I
that
think it's
show
the opposite. They moved into
no, he was in a black neighborhood and a white guy
Yeah, I
moved
think
into the
it's-
black neighborhood. It's a good show.
I
I
haven't
like
seen
the
it.
show, but the Jeffersons, like you never gonna see nothing like that. Or what's the other show with dang with the short dude, Gary Coleman. What was the name of that
Different
show?
Strokes?
Different Strokes. You couldn't make a show like that right now.
well, it wouldn't really be relevant like it was then.
Relevant.
I mean, it was significant then because you have a black child being adopted. by a
Angelina
rich
got
white
like
family.
14 black kids.
Realizing my point,
That
she's not
is
the only
true.
one. She's not the only one.
Madonna.
Ella Pompey has. So that's what I'm saying. It's not as back then when it happened. It was like, oh my god, they have a black child. Now she's like, oh, that's okay. Well,
But
cool.
I think back then there was conversations of that, and then when you look at the writers and producers on these shows, and you realize that a lot of them were white. Like you got white people writing this stuff, and white people getting behind this stuff, and black people having those conversations. Like, no, we in these writing rooms. So you got half black and half white. Like, no, these are things that happen to us. Let's put this stuff on screen. Let's do. You don't really. The Steve Harvey show. When he had that show in the 90s when he was a school
I love
teacher
that show.
and then old boy got killed, like where do you go from that? Or shows like Family Matters. Like it's in the title, Family Matters, all black show.
The one episode I remember from Family Matters is when Carl Winslow got mad because Eddie got that ticket and he was profiled, and then he had to really search deep into himself, and then he went back and he addressed that cop
Yep.
that did it.
Yep.
And then that's like but one out of many, right? because behind the blue wall of peace
Silence.
and protection,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? Like how many? I often wonder when we had all these black killings going on, how many of them actually pulled them to the side and said, "Hey, let's talk over here. Let's do this. How many actually stood up for African Americans?" I mean, I get it. People can get
In
a little
TV,
rowdy,
though.
but it ain't just black people who can get rowdy. It's white people who can get rowdy too. It's people from India who can get rowdy. Everybody can get rowdy, But the question is, did they have to die?
But I think the objective has changed too, because a lot of the shows that we're naming were seed planting shows that fed to the ideology of these things are actually possible. I know what you see, but these things are actually possible. When we think about the Cosby Show and the fact that Cliff was a doctor and Clara was a lawyer. When we looked at Good Times, at that time, there were people that were actually living in those conditions, but they had high points. The Jeffersons, that you can own 17 cleaners. It was about planting seeds to say these things are absolutely possible, and we're going to keep showing you this until you get that these things can happen.
So
I don't think that's the
why
objective.
aren't we
But
doing
what
it
about what
now?
about
Why now?
But
The society has changed.
But then you could say like living single came the concept for living single and Friends is exactly the same. But Friends is also the concept from Cheers. Like it's certain shows when you look at the ideas, you're like, oh no, that's that, but this is this. But in Living Single, it was us. She owned a magazine. She was black.
Mm-hmm.
Her best friends were models, designers, independent contractors, writers,
Accountant.
lawyers,
Her cousin
accountants.
worked there.
Like her cousin worked at was one of the
She took care of family.
Like, and you start seeing stuff like that, or on Martin, where I go from the DJ to the program director, and then my wife go from working in entry level to getting a promotion where we got to move to a whole where
And then
does that
she
happen?
Moved up and dropped him.
That is not what happened. That is not what happened.
I was like, yeah, I don't know.
The very last episode was when they moved out.
But
of the
yeah,
apartment.
but look at how our conversation changed. We were talking about the Jeffersons and stuff like that, and then we moved to Living Single, which honestly, until you brought these things up, that wasn't the focal point, because I forgot they even did these things until you actually pointed out what each person does.
And that's what I'm saying.
'Cause it was
So then we need to
like the
redivert
Jamie
our
Foxx
focal
show.
point. Exactly.
Think about the Jamie Foxx show, which was the most that probably was the last of the concept shows like that. Cause
No, Marlon. Did you ever watch Marlon?
yeah, well,
Marlon,
Marlon
2 seasons. That was an excellent show.
that was a great show, but
Loved it.
they was hating. But I'm saying like the success of watching people. So he went from the dude with no job in the Astro van to working in the hotel with the Astro van to getting the girl that'll never get him play in the Astro van to getting married, getting a new car, to actually being one of the managers at an all black hotel. Watching that show was like, hold on, black people own hotels?
Yeah.
Like black people own, and then you start paying attention to certain people's stories, like Donald Glover, and then you realize like his dad dropped out of school, but his uncle like had the check, but his dad was also a business guy. Like he understood business. Then you realize like, oh no, my dad like had some money and invested in some stuff, and now he got the check. So yeah, I grew up with the silver spoon.
But
I
if
grew
art,
up around all
but
these
if
people.
life,
Like
if art imitates life, then that would explain why we're sitting where we're sitting. Because the shows that were in the last couple of years revolved around
hip-hop.
media.
But the question.
Revolved around media.
But
Now
you said
I
art
will
imitates
say
life. Doesn't life imitate art?
it's both.
it can be both.
It's both.
But more time you
So
see,
like even
Because it
JJ on
life,
Good
though.
Times is the example of what we end up seeing in Basquiat. Like you just at the crib and you just mad creative, like for no reason. You that creative at the crib and don't nobody believe it. Like no, look at this art. Not man, look at what is you doing, bro? Like you got Warhol out here. Like Warhol painted a Campbell's can, and that they call that art.
Yeah.
He painted
Did you-
literally a red apple. Oh my God, that's the most beautiful thing. That's $1 million painting.
Did you see that movie with Kevin Hart? This one that just came out. I think it was called Upside or something
Yeah.
like that. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's a remake.
I don't even want to spoil it, but there was a scene where Kevin Hart he made his own art creation and sold it for that type of money.
And that movie is a remake. They've remade that movie at least 4 times.
Actually, talking about another remake, I did see the Taraji movie, Want Me in One. Is
Yeah.
that what it's called?
Yeah.
I actually kind of liked it.
It was a good movie, but
I
that's a
liked
remake.
It
I don't
it
feel
had
like
a good
Taraji-
message in it.
I don't feel like she translates well in movies. Like some of the movies she's
She
made
don't like
lately.
you
She does, but
She don't let you
it's
know.
the
She
it's
can't
the
stand you.
audience
Shut up.
because she's very unapologetic. So her characters are always going to be strong women, in every movie. So a lot of her audience translates to black women. She did a movie that was based on a concept about a white man. Black women went to go see it.
Which one?
What women want,
Oh.
or what men want.
Well, yeah.
I just say, like I said, if you look at the last 10 years, if art imitates life, and could be vice versa, then it would explain why we're seeing the kind of shows we're seeing. Survivor's Remorse, which was the basketball guy who left the hood and moved, and he had to bring his family along.
That always happens.
The Game, which is probably the last 10, which has had the same premise almost. I mean, it wasn't the leaving people, but sports. Then you get into reality TV, which people dog love in hip hop, but I live in Atlanta.
That's not reality TV.
A lot of love in hip hop is not false. Like a lot of that stuff does happen here.
It does.
Most of that stuff happens.
Yeah, most
all
of
the
the
time.
time. actually
Kurt did
happens,
cheat.
like-
We know.
And I actually would make
And you
it
cheated
more-
on Rashida, bro. Like Rashida, bad. What is wrong
I
with
shouldn't
you?
be Rashida 'cause we have to look at
But his
that.
name
She a
Kurt.
Buckner.
Like
What does that even mean?
dude.
Actually, I saw Jock in Cumberland Mall the other day, but I didn't make a big deal. I was like, oh, that's Jock. Okay, so give me those shoes over there.
Yeah, he not.
The fact
But
that he was in Cumberland Mall disturbs me all as well. Go
I mean,
ahead.
he was actually very low key. He was by himself. He on the book sack. He was,
Yeah, because
Don't
ain't
nobody
nobody,
really know.
ain't nobody,
Take him a job.
ain't nobody out here doing this.
See, me
Ain't
in
nobody
the trap
doing that no
going
more.
down.
Look, people. The point is, I mean, like I said, if we look at the shows that we're seeing now, Blackish and Empire are like standouts, but most of these shows kind of have the same premise. It's like,
Because they're all reality TV.
well, Survivor's Remorse was a scripted show.
But what you have to think about nobody talks about Ballers. Ballers is a black guy.
No, I thought that was the Rock show.
Yeah, ain't
That's
that Dwayne
that's
Martin?
his show. He's black.
He's not.
No,
oh,
he's not black, sir.
He's black.
The Rock
sir.
is not. We've
No.
adopted him.
No,
but he's not black.
He's black. You've never have you? So you've never seen his
think
family?
he said- I think
he doesn't
he
identify
said-
as black. I'm pretty sure.
Why he don't?
I don't
not
think he
black?
identifies
Is he
as black.
You
He's
don't know?
Samoan.
He's Samoan.
Okay, that's not black.
That's black.
No.
That's a 50-50 chance.
Yeah,
That's
the
black.
Rock is not. I don't think the Rock identifies as black.
He identifies as Samoan.
Well, that's not black.
That's black. Because that's what we do. We don't want to call stuff black.
You doing that old school thing that they have a drop of black and they black. That's not how that works. And the Rock, I don't think he identifies as solely black.
If you apply white man's rules,
Is the
130
Is that what we're doing?
130-second drop.
What?
Oh, these are
you
the same
black.
rules we dispelled in that Jim Crow movement. The same ones we want to get rid of. Now we're gonna use them. That's not how that works. That's not how that
They
works.
apply
Johnson is half black and half Samoan. His father, Rocky Johnson, is a black Canadian and part of the first black tag team champions in WWE history.
black.
Back when it was known as WWF with
Yep.
Tony Atlas.
Yep.
You have to
So
let people
he's
identify as what
black.
they. You have to let people identify as what they identify as. I've never heard the Rock say I'm black.
Why would
It's a lot of people that have never said
How would
that
you
they're
even
black.
hear it with all the screams going on? He doesn't even have
Again.
to talk. He just walk in and just do the little head thing.
And he take his shirt off
Take his shirt
I
off.
mean, he's
That's
the
and
it.
do the eyebrow.
What do you always say? He's the Rock. I mean, that's what he does.
Yeah,
That's
but
who
he's
he
always
is.
he's always identified as
That's
black.
like Bruno
Always.
Mars. Bruno Mars is black.
I don't know what Bruno Mars is.
I
He
just
black.
told you he's black.
Y'all going by that Jim Crow rule thing that everybody
no
looks
Jim-
No,
like
he's black.
If you half and half, that's not a drop. That's a full half a wire.
The black
And
gene
half
is
a-
You
always
have to go by
dominant.
what people identify as, and until they definitively say that I identify, because they do interviews, until they
Oh.
identify, they say
So we
that I
doing that.
identify.
So that's
So
what
we
we're doing.
doing we doing the identify thing now. We gonna do that?
So
saying.
basically,
Oh, okay.
you're gonna
That's-
apply that
okay.
rule. So you
Okay.
remember the very first time that this was applied was in the very first census, where you had Indians identifying as white, and white people identifying as Indian, just so they can get the benefits of living on the reserve and not paying taxes and getting the benefits of being on the reserve. Now you got almost 80% of the population of Indian people that we consider native. 80% of them aren't original natives. Like they're very white, like mad white, like super white. But the benefit of being white and then creating the rule where you could just put your name on something and be like, nah, that's me. I'm in that. Cause look at me, like I got a ponytail.
That's how the whole bathroom with the transgender thing started. If you think about it,
Which brings me to my
I
next point.
identify.
Which brings me to my next point. I actually want y'all opinion on this. So on Monday, was that this week? Well, I think it was.
Mondays
So,
in every week, sir.
I'm just saying. I can fry to both of y'all. You didn't even work here. So on Monday, me and Jazz had a discussion because Morehouse created transgender legislation that says if a woman identifies as a man, she's eligible for enrollment at Morehouse. And then we looked at policies from Spelman and Agnes Scott that said the opposite, that if a man identifies as a woman, then he's eligible for enrollment in those colleges because they're all female colleges, all male colleges, which is Morehouse. Thoughts? Because remember, transgendered doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have the
No, it means what it is what you
It's
identify,
what you identify as.
Now, what makes this a very sloppy and rocky road is the people that accept what you identify as. So these are conversations that you would naturally have to have with a woman. How do women feel about men that identify as women? You can't do that. Like, he can't be, you is not no girl. And then dudes be like,
That's what they say.
dudes be like, I don't got nothing to do with that. Bro, do what you want, but stay over there.
Until you get into discussions about like things like the bathroom. Because that's what we were talking about, me and Jazz. And my example was...
No, I'm going to punch a dude in the face if I catch him standing up in the bathroom with my daughter using the bathroom, man. I'm going to punch you in the face.
But there
Straight
lies,
up.
Wouldn't
there
it be a woman in the restroom?
No, it'd be a man...
It'd be a man that identifies as a woman.
Oh, okay.
And my example was I have the twins, and if Caleb's in the bathroom with me and a man that comes in that looks like a woman hoists his dress up and starts using the stall...
No, we got to fight.
He's gonna... What? How can you find somebody? Are you serious right now?
Are
you serious?
No, I'm talking about... I have a 5-year-old daughter. If a dude walk in while my daughter in the bathroom... I'm going to put my hands on you.
He's not a dude. He
I don't care what you identify as, bro. That's a little girl.
So you would send first of all, you would send a 5-year-old girl into the restroom by herself?
Man, my daughter mad potty trained. She grown. I'm going to
grown?
stand outside that
Oh,
door.
no.
I'm going to stand
Girl, I mean,
I'm gonna stand outside that
so you
door.
go with him.
No, no.
Well, you can take him. He's a boy.
No, fathers take girls at that age into the men's restroom in the stall so that they can have that privacy because you can't even trust what they do.
That's what I've done. I've always done that. But I'm like, no, she old enough. She know how to go use the bathroom for herself. I've taught her well. And it depends on where we at.
But how would you even know if it's a man?
My G, you know.
Actually,
if I don't hear that toilet seat hit that,
Actually.
if I don't hear that toilet seat hit that ivory.
But this is what makes the conversation interesting because for a woman to go into a men's bathroom, she can use the stalls, but she can't use the wall units.
Yeah.
For a man, it's not. So
you
I
can
guess
use
that's what
whatever.
he can use whatever. So I guess that's what makes this argument or this discussion interesting because the dynamics are so different. It's like when a man identifies as a woman. Even if he does have reassignment service, it doesn't matter. There are still aspects of being a woman you'll never experience. You'll never have PMS. You'll never have menopause. You'll never have a period. You'll never experience those things. Yeah, you'll never be able to have a child. So it kind of makes the conversation interesting because even if a woman goes to a man, it's not the same rules. There's nothing we really go through like the stuff that a woman goes through physically. So it makes the conversation interesting.
It's just one of those things. Do what you want. If that's what you want to do what you want.
But you say that,
I think that's a different dynamic because what you were talking about was identification and how a person identifies. You weren't talking about how a person lives. That's completely different, right?
But if you say if you're a man and say I live as a woman, you're gonna want to do women things.
Okay.
You're gonna want to go to the female's bathroom.
But you remember we had this conversation before where it's all about who would this is a world where like everybody want to be accepted.
Exactly.
So like black people want to be accepted for being black. I mean, we've been black here for like a long time. They don't accept us because this is not ours. We built it for somebody else. This ain't ours. Women want to be accepted as women, but you live in a world where men dominate. They also didn't do this for you. They did it for them. Men want to be accepted as men. You a man, bro. Like, do you? That don't got nothing to do with me. But then, like, if you're a black man and it's a white man that identifies as a strong white man, you identify as a strong black man, but you don't got as much as a white man, then it's white man. We know the history of why this happened. Now what? It's always going to be one of those. Now what? Everybody accepts everybody for who they are and what they do. Now what? Now what we going to do? What can you do after everybody is accepted?
Well, it's not even so much about what you can do. The question is what has to be done because now you have to legislate this body of people. When it comes to transgender, now you got to legislate this body of people. So when stuff comes up like this bathroom discussion, how are we going to handle that? Because in 2016, I think Obama passed the rule that
They put it
could
in
go to the bathroom.
schools.
And then in 2017, Trump wiped that away and was like, no, we're not doing that. You guys cannot go into the opposite bathroom regardless of what you
Yeah, but they
identify as.
built the bathroom and
But
then they
that's-
put it
that's
in
ba-
the schools
I think
where
I think what he said is based on what you identify as. Now, if you go through the whole process and your license says that you're a female, your papers say that you're a female, depending on what country you're in, then that previous or what used to be a former man who is now a woman can go to the women's restroom.
and that's what I'm saying. Like it's all about who accepts you.
But here's the thing.
All right, well, hold that thought.
They
We
say
gotta
you
take a
have to
break.
go ahead.
All right, so we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to have more about this and other topics on the Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo D. Rice.
Yeah,
You, my obsession, ocean and lover. You, my whole passion, patience was over. I was looking for another challenge, this huge ambition. I needed a change, revenge creation. Your eyes look like a mirror, and no more spell. Our minds were in a row, but look now and well. Love is not enough in order to last. Remember your laugh is part of my past. Better give it up now somehow. But I'll never, never, never stop thinking of you. I better give it up now somehow. But I'll never, never, never stop thinking of you. Never, never in the right place for us to stand by each other. You'll have to replace. But first a goodbye and find another. My heart was like a stone when we stopped in pain. I felt like a clone, cold blood in my veins. Forgive my silence, this absence of time, the crime of distance, deception was blind. I keep a secret, a great adventure. What kind of regret could it have been future? Not going ahead, my hands play a touch. I'm taking this new gate, you bring me so much. Better give it up now somehow. But I'll never, never, never stop thinking of you. I better give it up now somehow. But I'll never, never, never stop thinking of you.
All right, everybody, welcome back to this Friday edition of the Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo D. Rice, and my correspondents, and our special guest.
Jason Hayes.
Okay, so when we left, we had gotten, I want their opinion on this whole transgendered thing, and it stems from Morehouse having an enrollment policy that will include transgenders starting in 2020, and then seeing that same thing replicated, which I actually think they were the last. I think Spelman and Agnes Scott were first. They already have enrollment policies that are accepting to transgendered people. And it's always explanation needed because when people talk about transgender, it does get a little slightly confusing because transgender is more about what you identify as. Doesn't mean you had reassignment surgery. Doesn't mean you went from having a male part to a woman's part. It just means you identify as another gender.
You know what? if you start making this stuff literal, like, oh, okay, you identify as a woman, we're gonna pay you like one. It sounds funny when you say it, but the
you know
rules that apply to women, if they apply them to men that want to be women, it'll be different. You'll hear people talk about it. Because women make what, 40 to 50 cents on the dollar compared to a man
Something like that.
who makes 80 to 90 cents on the dollar.
Beyonce makes way less than I do. Way less. Ain't no way a woman can ever make more than a man as a woman.
Shout out to Beyonce for Homecoming, which is absolutely
Shout out to
amazing.
Beyonce.
Because that
Shout
I'm
out
just
to
I watched
Beyonce.
Homecoming yesterday, and
I'm just saying, Michelle Obama apparently makes less than me because of gender.
but we are talking about anomalies. We're not talking
Well,
about the general.
and
the
I
status
get it,
quo.
but here's the thing, especially in the HR world, right? And I try to, I've worked in areas where I've seen transgenders come in. I treat them as such. I refer to them in what they want to be identified as, and that's just because I scope it. And I like equality. That's the one thing I like. I like equality, right? So if we're going to be equal, let's be equal. Okay, this day and time, do we want to go into saying, hey, women make less than a man? I mean, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, because you have a lot of positions out there that'll work remote, right? And you have women out there who can do the same job as a man, and they're making actually more than most of the men on their team, or there are managers and supervisors and all that stuff, right? The question is, why is she making more than this man? Here's the thing, when it comes down to judging pay and income, compensation, all that stuff, we don't look at your personal life. We look at what you're bringing to the table, how long you've been with the company, and so much other stuff. All right. So sometimes, yes, if the industry does change, and here's what generally happens, which people don't understand: the pay in the industry changes, and so companies will adjust their pay based on that. And so, yes, a man might come in and make more than a woman who's been there for 5 years. And that's a slip on the company's part, because what they should do is they should go back and say, hey, Susie's been here for X amount of time and she does have this. So we need to adjust her to what the industry is paying right now. That way Susie doesn't leave and go across the street to company XYZ. And we just have a fresher, somebody new in here who doesn't understand anything.
But let's be honest.
But how would that apply to the transgender community?
Well, once again, it really should.
'Cause it would be-
shouldn't,
would it be
because
industry
it doesn't
based?
matter. It doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. Pay is pay at the end of the day. Pay is pay. Now, for somebody in the transgender community, here's the thing, and I'm pretty sure we all heard this saying: if you want my life, you want to wear my shoes, you got to take everything that come with it. Okay? Now, on some things, being a woman is bad. These days, I can't really see how being a woman is bad. I mean, here's the thing, and this is what I have to tell a lot of my female friends. I remember being on the side of the road. I had a flat tire, had to change my tire. It was raining. I mean, just...
Oh, no, they're going to ride
drizzle.
past you.
Right. Not only did they pass me, but a hero truck pulled up behind me. The dude flicked on the lights. He just pulled up behind me and sat there. He didn't get out to help me change the tire. He didn't do nothing. That was my tax dollars at work. I was so glad my tax dollars came to put a flashlight on me. But had I been a female,
Oh, no, that
he
tire-
would have been like, man,
that tire would have been
oh,
different.
get in the car. Oh, don't worry, I got it. I'm gonna take care
That would
of
have brand
this.
new. He put a brand new tire on
He
that
would have
car.
went to Firestone that night. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but at the same, but it's ideologies. If you saw another male on the side of the road, you're gonna be less inclined to stop than if you saw a female on the side of the road. It's the same thing for you. You just thought the same thing.
True.
So what is your point? Because you'd have thought the same. What was your point? You'd have done the same exact thing. If you see a dude on the side of the road and he changed the tires, okay, well, you good, man? Yeah, I'm good. You
But
keep
not
going.
if it's raining like that. See,
You're not gonna stop for a dude if it's raining. It can
I
make a
will
difference.
stop for a dude if it's raining.
It's still a dude.
I
The
will.
rain doesn't change the fact it's a guy.
No, it just changed.
But
what are you gonna
that's
do?
man rules. That's man rules. I'm riding
oh.
past everybody. I ain't stopping. I got somewhere to be at.
Hey,
Straight up. If I see a girl standing out there, I don't care how good you look. I got somewhere to be at. Like, straight up. And it might sound bad, but I'm just being honest.
I mean,
I'm
with
not-
all
that's
the good
equal
Samaritans
opportunity.
getting, no,
Hey,
with all
I'm not mad about
the
it.
good Samaritans getting killed, I can't say I would stop either.
yeah, I'm applying
sorry.
that all across the board.
Unless you're in
But
front of a public place,
we live
like
in
a
a-
gas station or something. Yeah, I'm not stopping. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying we live in a world that's male dominated, and we don't really know anything about the men that are dominated. Like, we don't know about their life. That's what
You don't.
that's what social media has introduced us to. Like, a dude that's worth $180 billion, we probably never know his name in real life unless you read Forbes or unless you're in that we would never know Jeff Bezos. We would never know if Jeff Bezos got divorced until the news told us. Now it's all over Instagram. And I feel like Jeff Bezos might be the GOAT because he only had to give his wife 25% of the company and gave her $30 billion and was like, all right, I'm up through there. He's still worth $150 billion. And his stock went up when he got divorced.
Really?
Come on, bro. Like that, it's stuff like that when you pay attention to it in business that's like, these folks is GOATs. Like, they the GOAT. Like, what's his name? Dang, it just slipped from Windows. Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates gave away half his net worth in like 2015 to charity. Split across the charities for children. Like, whatever charity in America is for children, he split half his net worth. $56 billion. Gave it away to charity. Because at the time, he's worth like 115 billion. 2015. Gave away half his net worth. 2 years later, he's worth $120 billion. Now, in my mind, I'm like, how you make $56 billion in 2 years, cuz? But then I thought about it. In a world that like this, we are super like we so in tune with what people do, whether it's good or bad, that we reward them for it. No matter what they do.
Yep.
It's good or bad. But I would have did the same thing, but man, I wish I would have had it. I would have did the same thing. No, you wouldn't have. It ain't no way. It's no way in hell if I had 56. If I had 100 billion, I'm giving away half to charity. I ain't even lying. I'm not lying. I'm not giving away that kind of money.
How much
that's
do you
because
need-
they're
how much
Straight
do you
up.
need- How much do you need to live?
Straight up.
Well, it's not even that. Their ideology about money is not the same as ours. Like, for
Exactly.
them, it's just like, oh, well, that's fine because I already know that I have residual income that's probably
Exactly.
equal to that. So
You gonna make it back.
Or
yeah,
more.
It doesn't matter. For us, we're just like, wait, I'm not used to having $2,000.
I'm saying you give me
$1 billion.
$1 million and tell me I got to give you how much in taxes? I'm gonna fight everybody in the IRS office. Everybody. But then you realize Amazon didn't pay taxes last year. Amazon didn't pay taxes the year before that. Amazon had paid taxes. I don't think ever. I don't remember the years, but I know the last 3 years they haven't had to pay taxes because they give away so much money, just like Oprah. When we started finding out that Oprah was giving away $5, $10, $15 million a year in charity, buying everybody in her crowd cars, like I could write all this stuff off. At the end of the year, y'all, the IRS owe me money. Y'all owe me money. And I'm sitting at the crib like, hold on, I paid more taxes last year than Amazon. They made $32 billion last year. I'm mad. Somebody got to catch these hands.
But that's funny when people think that companies are giving away cars and giving away this, and they're like, "Oh, I got it for free," and this that, and the other. I'm like, "Nah, companies getting a tax write off. You're just
They jugging the system.
You're just a voice box for them to be like, oh, make me another household name and make me this great person again." Like,
I mean, but don't we expect these companies to have social responsibility, corporate responsibility, that we
Nope.
expect them
Nope.
to give?
You expect them to
No,
have
it's about
responsibility when they
business,
apply to
man.
you.
it's about
And that's why I'm
business.
saying. That's why I'm saying. Like even with the transgender thing, when things don't affect them, they don't say nothing.
Nope.
They don't say nothing.
Nope.
But as soon as they feel slighted a little bit, hold on, what you mean I can't? I ain't say you can't. I just said that I ain't fit to do
Well,
it.
the first thing they do is they establish another letter to put onto the name so that we can't keep up with all.
Like
that.
why so? And that's not being disrespectful, but we
it
asked
happens.
Real when she was here. Why is it so many terms to describe you? Like, sir, if that's what you want to be called, sir. Ma'am, if you want to be called ma'am, cool. But then they got like, no, I want to be he, him, her, they, them, their, our, us, him, twine, cut. Like, that's
Really?
too much.
Really?
That's too much. Can I just, you want to be a girl? All right, Shawty.
You look like a girl, I'm gonna call you ma'am. Period. Ma'am.
You know what I'm
lady.
saying? Because I went to
I
school.
can't think that much.
I went to school with a gay dude, and like he a girl now,
did?
because that's what he want to be.
You
And he always said when we was in school, like when I grow up, I'm gonna be a girl. And I did the same thing.
You
And then
grew
I
up and you wanna
seen
be a
him,
girl?
and he a manager at Burger King, and he identifies as a woman now. Like he identifies as a woman. And I remember he got to a fight with a dude and beat the brakes out of that man when we was in high school. And now he a girl.
What does that mean?
No matter what you identify as, it does not stop how people feel about you. You can identify as an alien. If I don't like you, I don't like you.
Lil Wayne is an alien.
If I don't mess with you, I don't mess
He's a
with
Martian.
you. If I don't care about you and your life and your well-being or what you do, if I don't care nothing about that, it don't matter. Black people identify as king and queen, and then they shoot you down in the street. What does that matter? And I be telling folk, like, have you ever been to Africa? Everybody in Africa ain't no king and queen.
No.
It don't work like that.
No.
It don't work like that. If it worked like that, it'd be mad dead people, because that's the things that king and queens do. They try to conquer one another. I got to conquer you and your land and your people. It's mad dead people. Everybody can't be kings and queens. Everybody can't be the GOAT. Everybody can't be this or that. But if you identify as it, then I got to accept it? No, I don't. I don't. The world does not have to accept everything about you. If that's what you want to, if you want to be equal, then you have to equally understand that the world does not accept everybody equally.
True.
It don't work like that. You want to be a woman? That's cool. You want to be a man? That's cool. But you got to understand that men are not accepted everywhere. And women are not accepted everywhere. And nobody has to accept them because it's theirs. If you walk into my business establishment and it's my business and I do business the way that I do business, I don't got to, you don't, nope. That's discrimination. Nope, I don't got to sell the bread either.
That's like the men's club. Remember back in the day in the 50s and 60s?
It sound
when
bad.
They had the men's club, and then women were like, no, we should be able to get up in there. We should be able to get up in there. Okay, so eventually at some point in time,
it went from the men's club to the
shifted.
country club.
Now it's the country club, right? But here's the thing. If a dude, especially in Atlanta, go get his hands or feet done, oh, that man is gay.
Or he metrosexual.
No, they just jump straight to gay. They come back down.
But that's
to
what I'm
metro.
saying. Like,
so
what is
that's what I'm saying.
metrosexual?
I don't even.
That sound like something that came out of Atlanta.
Let's keep it equal.
Like,
want
you live
invade
in
us,
Metro
let's
Atlanta, or
invade
you
us, let's
metrosexual because
do it.
you live in Metro Atlanta. No, I just don't want my hands dirty. I hate having dirty hands.
Right.
I worked in construction.
Hold on. Let's press pause because I want to go back to what you said about the right of a business to refuse individuals based on their right to do business.
No, my right as a business owner, if I do not want to do business with you, I don't have to.
That is true.
And you don't think that's dangerous?
Dangerous for who?
It is,
Any
that is
protected
dangerous.
class of people.
Do you think that free speech is dangerous? Free speech is only dangerous if it incites violence.
Free speech.
I can say whatever I want to say to whoever I want to say it to, long as I don't incite violence. But because we are human, and especially because we black, everything that people say to or about us or in exchange to us can incite violence. That's us.
That's fine, but I'm talking about the right of a business to refuse to service individuals, because if
They
we're
have
not
that right.
careful, if we're not careful, you don't see how fast that can turn back into segregation. I don't want to
It
serve
could.
you. I don't want to serve you.
It's
I
all-
don't have to serve you.
But it's already like
it's a
that.
slippery
It's all-
slope. No, but if we're going to protect that ideology, no, we'll be back in segregation tomorrow.
Not protecting the island. I'm just stating the fact that this is the world that we live in.
No, there are rules that says you can't do that.
Well,
that you cannot refuse.
Well,
a certain
go and
class of people.
tell the Asian community that they can't only sell to Asians.
Let's not kid ourselves. All these other ethnicities, they recognize the value of the black dollar. Doesn't mean they have to like us, but they understand the
But
value of the black
they
dollar.
also
Right, and they
but they
treat us
also
like
do
crap,
not have
too.
to do business with you.
There lies in my point too. But I'm just saying it's a slippery slope when you start giving businesses the right to refute classes of people because they don't want to.
But businesses
But
already
here-
have
but
that
here-
right.
and
they don't
here-
have that right. They may
but
do.
let me
They
tell
don't
No,
have the right.
they
Let
have
me-
the
let me
right. They
tell
just
you-
don't apply it.
Let me tell you how
They don't apply it all the time.
They don't have
because
to,
if I know you're gonna come spend money with me, does it matter? I don't gotta like you when you come in here, but you got money.
But here's also another.
So
problem.
would you rather somebody sell to you and not like you and treat you a certain type of way when you get there because they know you still gonna buy?
But here's another problem. Hold on.
It's
Let's
fine.
let's
but
look
you
at
can't
this.
legally turn me away at the door.
I can.
You cannot. Not legally.
It's my right.
No. As a business, you cannot turn away a certain class of people. That's not.
I
legal.
know I can because you're saying class
You
of
can
people.
refuse
I can
service.
refuse people.
You can refuse service.
Cause you're going to think that it's you, but then it's the dude that's behind you. No, bro, you can't come in here.
Again,
No, ma'am, you can't come in here.
that's fine. But eventually, it's going to be a specific kind of people that you want to refuse service to.
So and
once they
and
get
I'm
together
asking
and
you-
realize that they keep doing it, that's a class action lawsuit.
So, but this is the thing. Have you ever been to ever been to Asian Town in Gwinnett?
You ever been to Starbucks?
No, I'm saying if if you ever been to go to it, so it's called I call it Asian Town. A lot of people don't call it that.
I'm sure it's
but
not
there's
called
a
Asian Town.
building off Jimmy Carter. As soon as you come off the exit, it's directly to the right, and then it's another little street mall to the left.
Yep.
Everything in that business is Asian. Like the letters
That's
are
fine.
you can't read it. It's all Mandarin. You can't read it.
The one on the
it's-
left is Indian. The one on the right is more Latin based.
No, I'm saying it's more than one. So it's
Yeah.
a building. When you come off the exit and you go towards Denny's,
Yeah.
that building, the whole top floor is Asian businesses, but it's a building by itself. And then if you come off the exit, you go to the left. One side is the Latin side. Then it's an Indian building,
Indian
and then
mall right there.
the
Yeah.
strip mall behind that is all
But that's
Asian
because
bus-
they invest in their own communities.
And
to
what
the
I'm
point
saying-
that-
My question is, what is the point?
because it doesn't matter if I don't refuse you. If you can't read it and you don't know what it is, you'll never shop here anyway.
Google it.
You'll never
Okay,
shop
I mean,
here
you'll find-
anyway.
you'll go-
And if
you'll
you
go
do
in.
come in here, I do have the right as a business owner to say that I do not sell to anybody that is what.
Anybody that's
Think
what?
about the hair. You remember we talked about hair, right? The reason why right now hair is mad popular is because a lot of black people got their hands on it, but they're buying from a distributor that has to buy from the wholesaler. They got to buy from the Asian community. They don't sell to more people that don't look like them, so they have to sell to somebody that look like them, and then that person got to sell to somebody that don't look like them, so you can buy from somebody that look like you.
That's handwritten. I'm talking about legally. No business can legally say, I'm not serving you and your friends or whatever the case may be. That's not legal. Now, handwriting on the wall, whole different thing.
No, you
Unspoken
can
rules,
call
that's
it
fine.
whatever you want to call it, but
Those are
businesses
unspoken rules. Like, that's not
do
legal. If we go to a place and you turn me away, and then you turn him away, and then you turn him away, and we have a conversation, go, wait a minute, that same business turned all three of us away. Let's send some more of our friends. And we send 5 more black males to go there. Then we go, oh wait, they're refuting a class of people. We can get together and do a class action lawsuit, sue the pants off them, get our money. You can't do it. It's not legal. That's my point. Now, unspoken rules and handwritings on the walls.
Just because you can sue somebody
knock
don't mean
yourself.
that it ain't legal.
Trust me, if I take enough money out your pocket, you'll change your ideologies.
But
you might not change the way you feel about me, but you'll change the way you do business.
But
Because
you
you
know
can have
what?
no money left.
But
Or I could close my business and
here's
put my
what
business somewhere
here's what we
else.
shoot ourselves in the foot. Here's
You
what
had
we
money.
shoot ourselves in the foot a lot of times, and I'm gonna say as African Americans. One, we want to jump from 0 to 100. Okay, so I've seen it a lot of times in HR where a person has an issue with another person, and they want that automatic response. Oh, I want them fired because they did this. It was racism, or this was sexual harassment. They don't want to let the investigation take place. They just want to jump to the conclusion and be done. Right? Okay. Well, if the roles were reversed, would you want for us to do that to you? No, we can't do that, right? So that's one place. The second place is when they talk about, job and employment going up and this, that, and the other, we can't go say that X company, doesn't hire African Americans and, a lot of da-da-da, and they'd be like, oh, look at the board and all this other stuff. No, first of all, what you have to do, which I've seen a lot of people not do, is they don't fill out that part in the job application or when they get into the job. Hey, are you black, white, or 2 other races? Are you male or female? Are you doing, because the government takes that statistical data, looks at it, and says, hey, this company, they got about 2% African American people in there. Why is that? And then they will go in and investigate. And then when those allegations and accusations go to the EEOC, then they have something else to stand on. But first of all, if we don't start by doing the right stuff, we're never going to get the resolution that we want in the long run.
But in business, a lot of people be complaining about stuff that they never gonna do.
This is true.
Like when everybody would complain about jobs, and then I just read the report last week that is 700,000 jobs in this country that are open, but people don't want to move. Well, who's gonna pay that? That when it's certain things like when you pay attention to it, you like, dang, 700,000 jobs. That's a lot of jobs. But don't know they're in places where a lot of people aren't. They don't have the means to move, or that especially black people, have become accustomed. And a lot of white people have become accustomed to calling one place home.
Yeah.
That place, that's home, and that's it. And I got to go back there. So no matter what I do, I got to go back there. And we see what they end up turning into. But business don't work like that. Business is like, wherever I be at, that's business. It don't matter where I be at, that's business. I be at the house, that's business. When I go to your house, that's business. When I go over there, that's business. We don't treat life like business. A lot of other people treat life like business. My business travels. My
Right.
business can go anywhere
right.
at any point in time and make moves.
That's right.
But we don't do that. And we also don't pay attention that a lot of people don't really care about our business. They don't care about our business. If our life is our business, they don't care. They don't care that water in Flint still dirty. They don't have to talk about it.
Which actually, when we come back, I won't talk about that. But we're going to take our last break. And when we come back, we have more on this and updates on other current events on the Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo D. Rice.
I saw me a pretty young gal. Girl was looking like, yeah. She was looking like, nah. You know what I'm saying? But the girl talked too much. I told her it could be all real simple. It's a real simple process, this love thing. This is what I tell her right here. I said, you feeling me and I'm feeling you. What we gonna do? Shut up and group. Shut up. Yeah, I see y'all. When you listen to your boy right here, that's when everything starting to go right for you. Come on, you know you're happy. I'm telling you, this thing real easy. All you gotta do is catch that groove and it drop on you. You know what I'm saying? All right, I'm sick of all this talking, girl. I told you, it's real simple. It's a real simple equation. Let me tell you this for you one more time. You feeling me and I'm feeling you. What we gonna do? Shut up. Yeah. Shut it. Shut it. Shut it. What we gonna do? We go hard.
All right, everybody, welcome back to this Friday edition of the Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo D. Rice, and my correspondent
Double R.
and guest.
Jason Hayes.
All right, so we're going to shift because I know you want to get into this. So
Let's do it.
talk about the interview with
So
Andrew.
I watched the interview, Andrew Yang and Ben Shapiro. Andrew Yang is a Democratic candidate running for president right now. Has raised, surprisingly, a lot of money. Surprisingly, he's the one guy that's doing all media. He don't care where you at, what you doing, who you are, conservative, right wing, left wing, up wing, down wing, square. Like, he don't care. He's doing an interview with everybody. And Ben Shapiro is one of those guys that is viewed as super conservative and disrespectful to this and that. So they sat down and he got into statistics about the freedom dividend, which Alaska has had a dividend for 37 years. Where everybody in the state that's over 18 gets $2,000 a year.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't-
and it's free and clear, taxable by the time you get it. But it's an extra $2,000 that you get every year
I need
that
to
you
go.
can apply.
I need to
And
move.
he wants to do $1,000 a month to every American over the age of 18.
Wait, in Alaska, is it a month or that's a year?
They get it every year right now. But Alaska is one of those places where they are paid, they get that dividend and it's applied to a commodity. So Alaska is very big in oil. Which means that it never has to come from the state. It comes from the current whatever is made from oil. So if you can give that to 65,000 people that live in one city and 120,000 people that live in another city, you're talking about close to 200,000 people. They get $2,000 a year for free.
I don't know where that money comes from.
It comes from oil. So in here, you would have to apply it to his suggestion was apply that tax to the tech companies. So the fact that a company like Amazon that hasn't paid taxes in a few years can go and make $32 billion in tech. And I myself, me, you, him, we all paid more taxes last year than Amazon. Why is it that Amazon doesn't give some of that money back? Now, I understand it. I get it. It's a stupid question because if he would have never brought it up, I probably would have never thought about it. But it's also one of those things like the freedom to be able to move, like what we were talking about with the job, the freedom to be able to move. A lot of people can't, on average, a person that's hit with a $500 bill would probably lose something before they could pay that bill. So if your rent late and you don't got the bread, you probably gonna get put out. Like an unexpected bill, your car breakdown. Me as an example. We just talked about this. Me as an example. My car breakdown. I don't got the bread to fix it, so now I got to overdraft my account just to fix my car. But now when my check come, my account negative. So what would $1,000 do for every American that hits their account? I don't agree with everything that all these folks say, but that thing makes sense to me. Because if an average person can't handle a $500 unexpected bill, that means that your life will drastically change with $1,000 a month. And that's not a lot of money. Like, it's not a lot of money. But what would $1,000 do for you every month? That's an extra $12,000, whether you work or don't work. Now, if you don't work, it doesn't do anything for you at all because it's only $12,000. But if you get a benefit and the dividend is greater than the benefit that you get, you still only get $12,000. So it actually forces people to spend more money in the marketplace, which would in turn force you to get a job because you can't spend money that you don't have.
And that thing becomes very dangerous because they thought that same thing about when they did the stimulus packet. Oh, well, they'll take the money and they'll put it back into the economy because they'll start spending. A lot of people do not spend that money. They just put it in their bank account. They have it for a rainy day.
No.
So that's not necessarily.
People spent that money.
No, a lot of people save that money because they were just like, oh, extra.
No,
I forgot how much it was.
White people save that money. Black people spent that money.
No, I'm telling you, when they did the research, they did not spend that money. I'm telling you, when they did the research, a lot of them did not spend that money. They sat on that money because it was like, oh, I'm just gonna save it for a rainy day. I'm not gonna use it. I'm not gonna use it as a
But what if it rained like it did today? They spent that money.
Yeah, but it didn't happen yesterday. They expected to go. They had accounted for that money. They said we're gonna give them the stimulus package. They'll spend the money. They'll help the economy because we need to move the economy.
But the question is, how many people got that stimulus package? I didn't get it. Did you?
We talking about the old one, not the new one.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I think I did. I'm talking about the old one like years ago. Everybody did get it. I'm not talking about this new one.
I ain't get it.
I did.
It's about 2010, right?
No, it was when they did way long before that, like in early 2000s.
They always hit me hard in taxes. I don't get it. Unless I claim my son, they be like, oh, you make too much. Do you know the cost of living for me? Do you know what I have to pay for my son? I don't get it. In fact, I feel like if fathers are reportedly showing that they're paying child support, they should be able to claim that child.
Right.
Period. Because that's a piece of our income that doesn't get accounted for, nor that's a piece of income that mothers don't have to say anything about.
They don't have to claim it.
They get an extra check.
Let's not even get into
why not?
Because
You said it's free flowing show.
What?
We open Friday. It's free flowing.
Oh no, I'm just because if we're getting to fathers and kids, the Atlanta laws are absolutely ridiculous.
No, Georgia law is garbage.
It's ridiculous.
Georgia and Florida law is worse.
I was listening to a conversation. They had a lawyer, and she was explaining about the men's rights and so on and so forth. Men have no rights in Georgia.
No,
none.
They don't. But
none.
However, if you jump across the bridge over there to old Bama, right? When the child is born, it's 50-50 automatically. 50-50.
I mean, there are other states, but
there are other states. I mean, here's the thing. Sometimes I think we need to look at, okay, what should be federal, what should be state, right? Something like that. I think that needs to be a federal law, across the board. Child's born. If proof of life shows that, I'm sorry, not proof of life, but if proof shows that this child has this man's DNA, 50-50. Georgia.
It makes sense, but it's one of those things like most of these men don't really want to, because they ain't even my baby for real, bro.
Oh well.
Straight up, they ain't even my baby. I ain't even got to give shout or nothing for real. That look like bro baby, but it's your baby. So I ain't doing nothing. Well, I bet
they face them consequences.
But it's one like he brought up an idea where single parents should get paid like that as a job. And I agree. Like
what?
parents that are stay at home moms or stay at home dads. They should be compensated for that because that is an actual job. I know a bunch of single dads, like a bunch of them. Like I hoot with some dudes that are single fathers that take care of their kids.
Yep.
That is a job. My mama was a single mother. That is a job, but she doesn't get compensated for that. She got to go get a job and take care of me and take care of her and take care of the house.
Right.
Why is she compensated for any extra expense? So I get it, but these are also things that when you really think about them, like, nah, you chose that child. Like, you chose to do that. And that's the conversation on the other side. Like, hold on, so you chose to get pregnant and you chose to have a kid and you knew you was broke. Why I gotta help you with that? And I understand that because I'm still mad that milk costs $4 and I can't get food stamps. That's whack to me.
Hold up, you can't get
We
food
still-
stamps?
No. I make too much money.
Man, please. I cursed that agency out about that. I'm serious. My son, I had got laid off, wasn't working, had my son, and I applied for food stamps. They didn't want to give it to me, and the lady just first of all, when I called, she had an attitude, and I had to let her know. I said, "Ma'am, if it was a female on this phone and it was the other way around, she would have had these." And I just went off. Next thing you know, I got my card in the mail.
Yeah,
Like sometimes, and I think that's part of the problem. We leave the power and the decision making in the wrong hands. Period. You cannot have, especially in government, you cannot always have somebody who cannot relate to the other person on the side of the desk as the decision maker if this person gets it or not.
I just want to be able to afford milk, and I don't even drink it that often. Like
I didn't think you even drink
I
milk.
literally only drink milk when I eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch, because that's the best cereal in the world.
Sir, no, it's not. That's a whole nother debate.
And look,
Lucky Charms.
you gotta stop. You gotta stop. You gotta stop.
Delicious.
But I'm saying, like, I
Lucky
cannot get
Charms.
food stamps. So, like, this new thing where they about to shut off the food stamps, and we talked about this last time. What are people going to do?
Nothing.
What are people going to do?
No, we talked
the thing that's so disgusting is that nobody ever asks what people gonna do. Oh, what these women gonna do with these kids? What you mean? My mama couldn't get food stamps. My mama couldn't get food stamps until 5 years ago. And I just found out last week when I did my taxes that for the last 5 years I could have been claiming my mom on my taxes.
Yeah, I could probably told you that. If you're a primary caregiver for it, then
But I thought that if my mom get a check, that's accounted for as income.
it's not.
Social Security and disability does not count as income.
Nope.
And I didn't know that because they don't teach you that when you do your taxes.
That's why I'm gonna get my Social Security next year. 2020, it's going down.
What? Okay. In any event, all right. So
Look,
there
that's a
is-
secret. That's
there-
a secret. I
I'm
need to know
retired.
that.
There
Right
is
now.
some follow-ups that I want to do. So the follow-up to the story in South Carolina, because a lot of us were I'm from South Carolina, so we were sitting on pins and needles to discover what happened with fifth grader Renaya Wright. She was the African-American young girl that got into a
She got to a fight.
slap box. They said it wasn't even a fight. It was like a little slap session for 5 to 10 seconds. She ends up in the nurse's office. They think everything's okay. She goes to the hospital. She dies. Everybody was waiting around to see exactly what happened because nobody had any answers. And the autopsy showed that she died from a blood vessel rupture in the brain that was unrelated to the altercation she had with the other fifth grader.
I don't believe that.
Well, it's an arteriovenous malformation. Apparently, it was something she was born with. So her mom, I guess, knew she had this condition. I guess it ruptured.
I mean,
So
that's
they said that,
that's what an aneurysm is. So she had a brain aneurysm. Basically.
Doesn't say brain aneurysm, but
I mean, that's the more technical term, but she had a blood vessel that it's one of those things like you take medicine for over time, and if she knew, like, nah, that girl just beat you up for real.
well, apparently it was said that Renai had visited a doctor at least 6 times relating to headaches since February 2017, including 13 days before the fight. So it looks like there were kind of telltale signs
that's
that they
an
probably
aneurysm.
should have
She
taken
had
her
an
in,
aneurysm.
that somebody should have taken her in. So we're going to assume that they didn't do the right follow-ups, and this was the result. Because like I said, that had been going on since February 2017. So,
Well, all doctors do is guess anyway. That's it. They poke, they prod, they guess, they give you this medicine. Hey, try this. Let us know how it works out. They guess.
Yeah, but if you don't follow up properly, then that also could be the issue. So we don't know if Renaya's mom had followed up properly. They could have said, "Hey, we tried these things, it didn't work." That was.
You think she's gonna go to
2017.
jail?
I highly doubt it. I don't think her mom was neglectful because she seems like her mom pretty much loved her.
Like,
daughter.
baby, go take some aspirin.
I mean, we do. Look, in our culture, we are known for stuff
broke,
like that.
when I broke my finger, my mama told me to go and take some aspirin and take a nap.
Did you feel better when you woke up?
No. My finger still look crazy.
I mean,
My finger still look crazy.
but I mean, I guess that's a question. Should the mom be charged? They
I
said
don't-
that
I
she's
don't think
been
so.
complaining about this since 2017.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm pretty sure the mom, in some point in time, took her to the doctor. And
So should the doctor be charged?
I think
Because you do know, like, and my friend, she has an aneurysm. It's very small, but they usually like the whatever this part of your brain is called. Whatever this part is called.
circular
Something like that.
Really?
But whatever that's called, she has very bad headaches, and she found out that she had like a very small clot, a little aneurysm, and they put her on blood thinners. Now, what these doctors do, and I didn't know that radiologists made that much money.
They all make a lot of money.
But no, that's like crazy, ridiculous amounts of money to just go and take an X-ray and look at a picture. and
Look
be
at how
like,
much
"You all right."
anesthesiologists make.
Too much.
A lot of money just to administer.
So I
medication.
feel like if you make that kind of money, you better be right.
Well, they have a higher duty of care, so
You better be
that's how you
right.
can get 'em.
You better be
You better
right.
be right. You know what you're doing. You know what
My
you're
mom
doing.
had
Yeah,
cancer.
that's how I do
My mama had cancer 3 times. You better be right every time.
I mean, when it comes to cancer, there's not a lot they can do outside of radiation.
But
They
you
don't-
should
what
see
am I
it.
paying
Spend
you
them on
for?
drugs.
You should see it.
No.
I mean,
No, doctors need to get paid like on a bonus or a commission structure. Okay, if you get it and it's cancer and it's true and you right, then you get that amount for that. If you ain't getting it right, then you shouldn't get paid. I'm sorry.
what?
Yeah,
You do realize that I'm not even going to validate that response.
I'm just saying you don't have to, but it's
It
true.
is not that cut and
Well,
dry.
So
Okay,
The medical industry is not that cut and dry. You can't just say, "Oh," because
So-
if you look in,
that mean that if I die on your table, they need to take that out your check.
true. In fact,
First
if he
of
dies
all-
on your table, you need to pay for the funeral.
First of all,
'Cause you make enough.
if somebody dies on the table, they're going to do an investigation anyway because the family's going to go ballistic, especially if it's something blah 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 blah. That is, if that's the case, people would get out the medical profession. Then we all gonna be screwed. Let's not play that game. Without doctors, we'd all be screwed.
Well, they
'Cause
killed
I'm
Dr.
not-
I
Saban.
don't go to
They
doctor.
killed Dr. Saban.
I don't go
So
to
We're not about
doctor,
to do
so
that
it don't
either.
matter.
We're not about to do that.
I really don't go to
Anyway,
doctor.
following up on another story. So that is the story for Renaya. Apparently, she had in essence, kind of like a brain aneurysm.
Sue the doctor, mama.
So
Sue the doctor.
No,
Go after him.
no.
you
because
could, because if they just tell you that it's okay and she just
But
having
that's
headaches.
assuming they did not tell her that she needs to take her child to a specialist, which required more money. So if her mom doesn't have health insurance, she's not going to do that.
Then blame
so we
it-
don't know that.
She got health insurance.
We don't know that.
Obama put it in play. She
If you,
got
if
health
you go
She
to
got
the
the
doctor
opportunity
6
to-
times,
she got it.
if you go to the doctor 6 times, you ain't paying for it.
If you go to a doctor, we're talking about a specialist. If the doctor is continuously telling you to take your child to a specialist,
Then I'ma tell
but
that doctor,
keep
you pay
bringing
for
your
it.
child. Really? Then he
Yeah.
already told you when he refers you to a specialist, he's telling you you have something that I don't understand.
So
you
should
need to
she
go to
be
somebody who
charged?
understands. No, the question probably boils down to healthcare.
Why didn't he pay for it? He
Really?
make enough.
Y'all just sound like 5-year-olds. Anyway,
just wondering.
moving along. So it looks like Flint, Michigan has finally gotten a resolve. So on Monday, the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality provided Flint with the remaining $77 million of a $120 million federal and state loan that was granted to the vehicle city in March 2017, courtesy of the Water Infrastructure Improvements for the Nation Act of 2016. In essence, they have the money to cure the water problem. People get an ups because it's a loan, but the loan is already, it doesn't accrue interest or anything like that. It's already paid back.
First
So
of
it
all,
carries
first
Who
of
zero
all,
paid it? Did
interest.
Jaden
They've
pay it?
had-
Or
Zero
Will?
interest.
They've had dirty water
Forever.
for 5 years.
Forever.
And you telling me that because you gave my city a loan. First of all, this is a city. Why would you give a city a loan?
Well, apparently it was something they already had. This happened in 2016.
Oh,
they
so
just didn't allocate.
So they were misusing government funds, is what you're telling us.
Basically, they was jugging the whole city.
That's
and
then-
people have died.
and then
Mad
little
people that
Jaden
got
Smith-
sick. And
Little
Jaden took a
little
bunch
Jaden
of
Smith.
money.
Exactly.
Because you know he got a water company. It's called Just Water.
Right. It's
Caught
just
that.
water.
I should be a spokesman. Anyway, so he has a water company where that's what he did. He provided a bunch of water to the city. A lot of people have provided millions and millions of bottles of water, but they also say that bottles killed it. Like, they don't kill the environment, but then kill the people that drink the water. Like, shut up. Stop being, that's whack. It's
And
mad
why did
people
it
that
take that millennial to come up with this solution?
Look, y'all asked me questions.
He came up with a solution.
Y'all asked me
like he
questions.
just said, people were donating water, but this young man came up with a solution.
Again, y'all asked me questions that I cannot answer. All I said was they have the money they need. Now, I will say to your credit, with your statement, that is a very interesting question because I think this happened in 2016. This was under Obama. So this money was given to them in 2016. So why they're just now allocating this money, that is a very good question. And that's a very good question.
But you know what? I think that if that happened in a major city, it'd be totally different. Let that happen in a city like New York.
No,
Or for Atlanta.
no,
It happened in Atlanta.
no.
Oh, they would fix it because we have...
They move on what they
Oh
want.
no, because
they move on what they want to
hold
move
on, because you know in Atlanta
Flash shows just got finished.
a couple years ago, you remember they had the lead was in the water when they found out Atlanta had lead in the water. It was higher than usual, and then they started shutting everybody water off for days at a time. And I'm starting to see these folks doing all these construction on people's streets where they doing whatever they doing. It don't look right. I don't know what these folks doing where they just pulling up on people's street, digging up the whole street. Yeah, we got to get down to the what's the name down there. It's a what's the name
Mayor
down there.
Bottoms did something with Dotton. She combined two agencies, so now they actually have, I think, funding to fix the roads. That's what a lot of that is.
Nah, these folks digging up folks. I'm talking about cutting the fire hydrants on and running the water out to go down and do whatever. It don't look right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't look right. Granted, that's not fresh water. None of the water that we drink is fresh water. It's all like filtered.
That's why you got to boil it.
Actually, I don't. I drink right out the tap in my house.
That's
I live in
country.
No, because in the country we can't do that.
Country.
No, in the
I'm liable to see a seahorse if I open my.
In the
if I
country, you
run
got
water.
to boil that water. in the country.
Yeah, I would
I'm
never
saying.
drink water from back in South Carolina. Out
I'm
the
saying,
faucet. No,
so
sir.
like, why Pure Filter been making these filters for 20 years and they ain't never why they ain't just go to Flint
conspiracy.
and give everybody a
It's
filter?
conspiracy.
I'm sure it's expensive.
So it's mad people dying because they can't drink water and take showers.
But like to somebody's point, Flint is not a major. I didn't know. I still don't really know where Flint is.
It's
It's about 30
I know what.
minutes
I mean, I
from
know
Detroit.
what city
It's
it's in.
20
but I
minutes
don't
from
really.
here.
I know what state it's in, but I'm really, really.
But I'm just
again,
saying, like,
if that had
broadcasting
been
live.
Atlanta, they'd have fixed it like that because you have all these. They're not going to lose money in Atlanta.
No,
But
no,
if it
that
would
is not
have
true.
look, if it would have
That is
been
not
Detroit,
true.
they
You
wouldn't have
sit there.
fixed it.
No,
Huh?
that's not
If
true.
it would have been Detroit, they wouldn't have fixed it.
It depends
Yeah, I
on-
mean,
it
that-
depends
Detroit
on
is-
what
but
part of
Detroit
Atlanta.
is a major
It depends
city.
on what
In
part of
theory.
Atlanta.
And they let Detroit go bankrupt. You let the whole city, the major city in a state go bankrupt.
Detroit is Detroit. I don't know why you use that as an example.
I'm
We
just
all
saying.
know nobody going to do nothing in Detroit.
And to my point,
Unfortunately.
I
it
go to
depends
Detroit.
on where you're talking about in Atlanta, where things are going to get done, finished, and how long it takes.
I don't care what you say. Atlanta's like the next. Actually, I think we've replaced
Don't say it.
L.A.
Don't say
about media, so they gonna make sure with them shooting Avengers and stuff. Trust me, nothing is gonna
They
slip through
don't
Atlanta.
care.
Yes,
But
they do.
them
With
folk-
money.
them folks ain't
brown
drinking
water
tap
makes
water.
it look more authentic.
Their staff does and their crew does.
No.
I can assure you
no,
that
they-
they're gonna fix the water.
No,
They got
They
hundreds
bought
and
it.
hundreds
No,
and
that's
thousands
in
of
the
Y'all can
bottles
say whatever
of
you
water.
want to
That's
say.
in the budget.
They are not gonna let Atlanta go under.
And,
Yes, they
and what
will.
you're not gonna do is let The Rock drink tap water.
The Rock is one
The
character
Rock is
to
not-
pull off a movie
And
when it
he
takes a
only
whole
has-
staff of probably 120
And he only
people.
has red
do it.
M&Ms.
They ain't
in
getting all
his
them
room.
bottled water all
They
day.
ain't let Don Chino drink no bottle,
Nope.
not no tap water.
I wish they would let Halle Berry drink
I'm not
tap
about to
water.
waste.
I will fight
I
them.
will
I'm not about to
mother-
waste
Woo!
my energy on y'all.
Halle Berry drinking tap water. What's
They
wrong with
better
y'all?
not.
Are y'all done with y'all little Did y'all have y'all little conversation?
You
Because we
brought this
got
up. We
8
just
minutes.
addressing it.
I'm talking the little stuff you want to discuss.
just-
Did y'all have y'all got
I'm
8
just
minutes.
saying, it depends on Atlanta, in Georgia, because Atlanta's not Georgia. People get that misconception going all the time. Okay, let's look. They just finished flat shows. Just finished flat shows. How long have they been working on flat shows? But you go to some other areas,
Cobb.
the Roswells, the
Cobbs.
Cobbs, all
Well,
them
that's why I live
places.
here.
You know, they started making the street. They finished the whole stadium before they finished working on that one little bridge
Well, we
over in the cab.
We already know what that is.
Why
In
is
any
that?
event,
Why is that? I mean, bring
we
it
already
up.
know this.
We didn't have Jaden Smith. What was that? What's that all about?
We have 8 minutes. I'm
He
not
gotta
getting
come
into
in
that. We have
and
8
fix it.
minutes.
We should
Did
have
y'all
Jaden
finish
Smith.
y'all
We should
conversation?
have Jaden Smith.
Did y'all finish your conversation about what you want to talk about?
It's your show, Ricardo D. Rice.
You have 7 minutes. You have 6 minutes.
Dougie Fresh, you're on.
Okay, so I have one other issue, one other question.
Who you voting for? Pick a candidate. You got to pick one now,
Trump.
because
What?
everybody talking. These debates is coming up. Everybody talking. You got to pick one.
Who you going with? I'm voting
I
for
still go with who I said initially.
Trump?
Actually, no. It boils down to two. It's out, and we'll see because Biden hasn't officially came out yet. So it's down to Biden and Sanders. Now I'll go for Kamala or Abrams as VPs, but the forerunners it's got to be either Bernie Sanders or Joe Biden. That's it. Even when it comes to fundraising, those two are at the top.
If they don't start applying some of this rhetoric that Andrew Yang is using, I don't know if they can win. You got to start. They're not talking about like people that matter. Like they're not talking about issues that matter. Like things that I wasn't paying to. My cousin drive trucks. I didn't know that they're about to automate 3 million jobs away. Truck drivers are some of the most consistent earners in the country. Mm-hmm. They earn between $32,000 and $88,000 a year. Mm-hmm. That's life-changing money.
Well, yeah, but I don't think that's happened. I think that's a gradual change. I don't think it's up in one day you see all these
over the next 4 to 5 years. It could be that way.
They've already been testing.
Yeah, but we already knew that was
30% of the retail stores and malls are closing because of Amazon.
Yeah, that's
if you put that many people, the retail work is one of the number one professions in the country. You put that many folks out of work, you better be giving them food stamps or something.
No, they can't afford that. They can't afford that.
But it's America, and we can't afford to get everybody food stamps.
Can't afford to give everybody.
That's
food
whack.
stamps.
My homegirl get $800. She only got 2 kids.
All right. Well, actually, that question goes to you. So, who are you voting for?
I like Andrew Yang, and I like Biden if he finally announced.
Well, they said next week. He's supposed to expect him to do it next week.
And if he don't announce, then I'll vote for whoever run independent or green.
I'm gonna run.
I mean, you might as well. Everybody else is running. You might as well. Actually, there's a candidate that we discussed on Monday. I don't want to butcher his name, so I'm trying to find his name because I don't want to butcher his name. It's Peter. It starts with a G. Is
it Gutenberg or something like that?
It's like Gutenberg, something like that.
Is it German?
I don't know. In any event, I think he's a mayor now.
I seen his name. I like some of his rhetoric.
He's gay. My only thing to him was when you look at the optics, he should be a viable candidate. He's a mayor, so he understands the dynamic of running something on a bigger scale than most of these senators and congressmen. He should actually be a viable candidate. I don't think he has time
to win because he's gay.
That's what I was wondering. Why did you say he's gay?
Because he is gay.
He's gay.
Yeah, but is that like his
this
grounds
America
for running?
No, but it could help him and it could hurt him.
Exactly, because if he can get the power of the LGBT people like Ellen and all them who have buku amounts of money to throw it at him and really get on his campaign, he could be a viable candidate. His time is winding up because eventually, at some point in the next less than 10 months, we're going to have to single this field out.
No, so they're going to single it down after these debates come up.
I know. Well, you're looking at they're not going to do just one, so you're looking at about
3. At least 3 is 20 candidates.
So I'm saying you're probably looking at about at least another 6 or 7 months before they can finish all these debates and actually decide defensively, because the debates will decide will separate the men from the boys.
Nobody's really saying anything that's like amazing.
I don't think anybody's going to. I think they're going to wait until they start having debates, and then they're going to start making.
I watched the Andrew Yang town hall. I enjoyed it. I think I seen the. Kamala. I seen Kamala's town hall. It's alright.
I can't find the guy.
Cory Booker, I've been looking at a little bit. But
Cory Booker, I thought he was going to have a
impressed.
shot, but I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's going to end up being on anybody's VP ticket either. He just doesn't have the momentum.
I don't think that anybody is impressive enough. Nobody's impressive enough. Nobody's saying or is doing anything enough for me to be like, nah, that's it right there. Joe is the only one that I would be like, nah, he the guy. He's likable, like he like a grown young man. Cause I didn't know Joe was that old. Joe don't look 70.
Yeah, he is old.
He don't look 70. He still look like a young, tall white dude.
I think with so many changes and stuff going on in the country, I think we need to reshift as to what it is that we actually are looking for from, any type of candidate that's
I don't think that we've ever known.
What?
At some point
What
we
we
knew.
want.
I think at some point we knew, but
I think we've always
with the dramatic
enjoyed
shifts.
I think we've always enjoyed when we feel like people speak directly to us.
Right.
Like with black people, they felt like Obama was speaking directly to us, but he wasn't. He said, "Yes, we can." He didn't say yes, we as black people can. He said yes, we can,
Exactly.
which applied to everybody.
Correct.
The same thing with Bernie, like what Bernie is saying. I appreciate him, but Bernie, you've been doing this for 30 plus years and you haven't done much. Like you went from like a little bald headed to like bald headed.
All right, so you have Booker, Buttigieg, I'm probably butchering it, Castro, Delaney, Gabbard, Gillibrand.
I like Castro too.
I ain't falling for nobody named Castro.
I like Castro too.
Just the name alone.
I just like his rhetoric. I think that's what it's gonna come down to. Like a lot of people are just gonna have to persuade people over their rhetoric.
I mean,
The
but
things that you're saying, the things that you're trying to apply, like, but the plans, like people are just talking about stuff that's already happened. Like the reason I don't want to keep hearing about healthcare because
Well, it's a big issue.
everybody has talked about healthcare and it's yet to change.
I didn't know there was a black guy that was running.
Healthcare should be free.
So we
Period.
have Wayne
And that's
Messam.
he's
He's 44, mayor of Miramar, Florida, former college football champion. I have never heard of him.
Where is Miramar,
He's
Florida?
new.
it's
I've heard of it.
somewhere in the middle.
Oh, he's
And I'm
actually
from Florida.
he defeated a longtime incumbent to become his city's first black mayor.
He
has
just won.
Yeah, he's taking a progressive stance on guns, immigration, and environmental issues. First generation American born to Jamaican parents, he is hoping to tap into the Caribbean American community to help fuel his long shot bid.
It don't matter. It don't matter how much you tap into that community. This America.
Yeah, he's not. All right, so the names again, because we got to go. Booker, Buttigieg, Castro, Delaney, Gabbard, Gillibrand, Harris, Hookenlooper, Inslee, Klobuchar, Messam, O'Rourke, Ryan, Sanders, Swalwell, Warren, Williamson, and Yang. That's a lot of people.
I like Williamson.
That's a lot.
That's
I
the
don't
only.
know
That's the only name that I feel like you could pronounce out of the
Yeah.
whole.
I'm gonna have to learn more about this Messam guy. I haven't heard anything about him.
He recently won that seat.
Yeah, that's interesting. But he did uproot an incumbent, so that's pretty impressive. But on that note, thanks to Jason for sitting in today. Double R glad to see you in the studio for like after 3 weeks. But anyway,
2 weeks,
after about
2
3 weeks. So we'll see you guys on Monday, same time, same place on the Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo D. Rice.
IBNX Radio.